myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
A very good morning, Dumelang Bakhayetu, and welcome to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. And I certainly hope that you feel so good on this Tuesday morning as we welcome you to the start of a brand new day. And as it is a Tuesday, it is a health-focused Tuesday. Today, we're paying special attention to National Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder Day, which is tomorrow. Now, on our panel, we have expert psychiatrist Dr. Laura Comrie, educational psychologist Daniel Douglas, and Michelle Venzagi. Now, of course, this is your time to have your questions given to us on our social media platforms. Do send them to us. And it's all about concerning kids. How do we deal with kids with ADHD? How do we diagnose it? What are the differences between ADD and ADHD? These are some of the questions that we will be addressing today. Then a topic that has been on social media and on the lips of many people across the world, the British monarchy. Of course, the Queen has passed. So the question is, now what? What happens to the next line of succession, and what does it mean in today's time? We would love for you to weigh in on that discussion. Of course, you can find us all over social media at Expresso Show. But as we get the day underway, let's say a very good morning to a king himself, Graham Richards.
I'm here for you. I'm here for you. Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. Screams and cheers. We are here for that. Thank you so much, Kat. Great to connect with you again, my brother, and great to connect with you guys at home. You know, as Kat was speaking there right now, as a parent, and a relatively fresh parent, if I can put it that way, immediately my heart starts pounding when I hear those letters, ADHD. We know this is a vitally important time to garner awareness, but this is such a grey area for so many parents when it comes to their own children. So we're going to open the airwaves and hopefully start that conversation with you this morning. And this is the question I'm putting to you. Have you or any of your children been diagnosed with ADHD, and how have you been managing it? I know it's a scale, and I'd love to know where you fit into that story and how it's affected your life, what you're doing as a parent to push back in that space. We'd love to hear from you on any of our social media platforms, and of course you can drop us a WhatsApp voice note, safe place. We'd love to hear your thoughts and insights. 063-408-8863. In fact, if you want to let us know about anything on the show, send us a really cool picture. Send us a picture of your bake. It doesn't matter. You can do it today, but it is a health focus, so I'm hoping you're going to join us for that vitally important conversation around ADHD this morning. But as Kat said, a pretty big week in the news with the passing of Her Majesty and a new king at the helm of the United Kingdom. Let's get more details on that and the other talking points for the day with the news.
Thank you very much, Graham. Just gone 3 minutes past 6 o'clock. Let's take a first look at the news headlines on this Tuesday morning. On the national news side, President Cyril Ramaphosa has assured displaced residents of Jagersfontein that the government will rebuild their houses. A mine dam collapse has left a trail of destruction in the Free State town, rendering scores of residents homeless. Now, Ramaphosa said the cause of the incident would be investigated. One death has been confirmed. The president visited the injured residents who are still hospitalized. Now, more than 80 people were taken to various hospitals and most were treated for hypothermia. The majority have been discharged. Meanwhile, Jagersfontein Developments in the Free State says it's devastated by the mine dam that collapsed on its property and has set aside 20 million rand to assist affected residents. Jagersfontein Developments spokesperson Leanne Carey said they were cooperating with local authorities and undertaking a full investigation. Humanitarian aid organization Gift of the Givers has arrived at Jagersfontein to assist disaster-stricken residents. The organization's relief coordinator, Corrine Conradi, said that they will provide food and clothing, including animal feeds. On the international news front, the Zimbabwean opposition party Citizens Coalition for Change, or the CCC, says its leader Nelson Chamisa survived an assassination attack at the weekend. The party says Chamisa's convoy was attacked with explosive devices on its way to a political rally near the town of Chinhoyi yesterday. Now, the CCC says the venue where the rally took place was also pelted with petrol bombs on Saturday. The party blames supporters of the ruling ZANU-PF for the attacks. The Zimbabwean government has not yet responded to the allegations. Meanwhile, Ukrainian farmers are likely to cut the winter grain sowing area by at least 30% because of a jump in prices for seeds and fuel combined with a low selling price of their grain. The Ukrainian Agrarians Council said yesterday. Ukrainian grain exports have slumped since the start of the war because of its Black Sea ports. A key route for shipments were closed off, driving up global prices on food and prompting fears of shortages in Africa and the Middle East. Now, a large area was occupied during the Russian invasion that began in February. Now, 4 beautiful penguins were released back into the wild on Saturday from Lookout Beach in Plettenberg Bay after successful rehabilitation at the Teniqua Wildlife Rehabilitation and Awareness Center in the Crags. Now, the regular release of penguins nursed back to health has become a major attraction in Plet over the past 4 years. Runner, Greenie, Redman and Elvis Blue were found in various locations suffering from injuries or parasite infestation. Runner was treated for internal parasites and named so because he was always first to charge forward and gobble up the fish. And Greenie, the juvenile penguin, always made sure that he paced Runner to get to the fish first at feeding time, and on arrival he was green tagged, thus named Greenie. Redman, on the other hand, was in a bad way after enduring heavy seas and inclement weather. In rehab, he was always in the water diving and snorkeling, and Elvis Blue was in a very poor condition with serious foot and eye injuries, but it was clear to onlookers that Elvis Blue and his friends were ready for the blue waves and new adventures to follow, and we wish them all of the best going forward. And well done to the team that have assured their safe rehabilitation back into the wild. That's it for the news at 6 o'clock. We'll take another look at 7 right now. Here's a first look at what's happening in the world of sport with Graham.
Thank you so much, Kat. I'm glad the Penguins had their tuxedos on to mark the occasion. Beautiful indeed. Let's kick it off with cricket news and a bit of a bombshell dropped by Cricket South Africa yesterday with the news that Proteas head coach Mark Boucher will be stepping down from his role as of the 2022 T20 World Cup, or at least straight after that. That's set to take place in Australia in October this year. So in a statement released by the CSA, they said that Boucher, quote, has decided to resign in order to pursue other opportunities in line with his future career and personal objectives. Boucher was appointed as head coach of the Proteas in December of 2019. And during his tenure, he's had a successful run. His side registered 11 wins in the Test arena to go with 12 ODI wins and another 23 victories in the T20 space. CSA said that Boucher's successor would be announced in due course. And better news on the rugby front. Springbok hooker Bongiwe Mbonambi has joined the national squad in Buenos Aires. And this yesterday after completing his initial stages of his recovery from that knee surgery that sidelined him before the second Rugby Championship test against New Zealand last month, making pretty good progress. Springbok coach Jacques Ninova said that Mbonambi's recovery would be assessed this week with an eye on hopefully getting him ready for contention for selection for the team's closing Rugby Championship test against Argentina down in Durbs on the 24th of September. Ninova will announce his squad for this weekend's game against Los Pumas later today. Then on to footballing news. Of course, a lack of football on the field this week. 3 Premier League matches have now been postponed this weekend before the funeral of the late Queen Elizabeth II. So Chelsea's home game with Liverpool and Leeds United's trip to Manchester United have been called off. Brighton against Crystal Park had already been called off because of rail strikes and remains postponed. And then the other league matches between the 16th and the 18th of September will take place after football paused last weekend as a mark of respect following the Queen's passing. The Queen's funeral will be held on Monday, the 19th of September. Then we round off, again, not on the best notes, as we hone in on one of Formula One's big headlines this week. Williams driver Alex Albon, he suffered respiratory failure and was treated in intensive care following appendix surgery over the weekend. The 26-year-old had an operation on Saturday, but then suffered, quote, an operative or post-operative anesthetic complication and was put on a ventilator. And thankfully, he came with a ventilator on Sunday morning and is now back on a general ward in Monza in Italy. Williams says he should be returning home today. So hopefully that's the end of the drama on that side. But that's where we leave our sporting headlines for now. We'll touch on them again in about an hour or so. Right now, let's bring you the latest on the weather front, bring you some environmental global news, and then, of course, the temperatures we have for you today.
Thank you very much, Stephen, and a very good morning to you, Mzansi. A first look at your environmental news. Now, the environmental world will be looking hard at King Charles's handling of green matters with great expectations. Now, since he was a young prince, he has certainly made his concerns and passion for the environment known and has been taking concrete steps to live a sustainable way. Now, a former chief of Friends of the Earth, that's Tony Juniper, said that he would go so far as to say that Charles is possibly the most significant environmental figure in history. Now, last year, Charles gave the opening address of the COP26 climate summit, saying, and I quote, "Time has quite literally run out," warning all the people attending of the dire state of the environment. But will the Green Monarch be able to continue to publicly pronounce his passion and concerns for the environment? Now that's his king, certainly something to be on the lookout for. Now, definitely not. He has to be less outspoken, says Juniper. But others do say that the new monarch is likely to continue lobbying for the environment. Sustainability, of course, at the top of the list, mental health, as well as being at the top of all of those on his agenda as he takes over British royalty's top job. Now, from environmental news, we head on over to those beautiful sunrise views. We take a look at those. Thank you so much. First off, this morning we got Nicholas Meyer, who shared his stunning sunrise picture from Hartenbos. Look at that bright orange glow across the horizon, featuring the city lights. How beautiful is that? Kaylee De Brain also coming through with this refreshing ocean view out in Kleinmond. Look at those orange clouds. They're stunning. Thank you so much for that. Elise De Beer also coming in this morning with this beautiful lavender sky from her backyard out in Centurion, Gauteng. Azelia coming in bright and early with this pearly beach. Look at that tangerine lit morning sky. I love it. Finally, Roald Aunt coming in with this bright and colorful sky all the way from Durban, the warmest place to be. What a view. Thank you so much for those beautiful pictures. You can do the same. Send your pictures to us on our WhatsApp line. That's 063-408-8863. And now we take a look at those temperatures to set you up for your day today. Polokwane, we start off with you. 10 is your minimum, your maximum 21 degrees today. If you're out in Mbombela, 14 your minimum, reaching highs of 17, with the capital Pretoria 10 and 24. If you find yourself out in Jozi Mabone, Johannesburg today, 9 is your low. You will reach a maximum of 22. Mahikeng starts off today at a low of 12, reaching a maximum of 27. Klerksdorp 11 and 27, with Kimberley coming in with plenty sun today, 10 your minimum and your maximum is 25. Sunny times for Bloemfontein are expected today as well, 6 your lows, reaching highs of 25, with Richards Bay rainy times, 15 and 19 today. If you're out in Pietermaritzburg, brace yourself for some rain as well, 10 your minimum, reaching a maximum of 20, with Durban coming in at 16 and 20. Mthatha 7 your low, your maximum 21. East London comes in at a low of 11, you will reach a maximum of 20. Some sun and clouds expected out in Craddock today, 5 your minimum, your maximum is 22, with Gqeberha at 11 and 19. George 9 and 18, with the mother city Cape Town coming in with plenty sun today, 11 your low, reaching highs of 21, with Worcester starting off at 10 and peaking at 24. Sutherland, your temperatures 5 and 20. Last, certainly not least, 10 is your minimum, Uppington, and your maximum is 29 degrees today. Well, it's a beautiful Tuesday, and I hope you are going to choose to be on the feel-good side of life. You've already done and made the right choice by sticking in with your Feel Good Breakfast show. The next update will be in just over an hour.
Yeah, that option is certainly selected, Uncle Tabsy. Good to see you too. Very good morning to you. Now, of course, the weather is slowly warming up, and hopefully it is doing so in your part of the country as well. And so it is time to get the summer wardrobe ready, right? Even for you at home. And it's Tuesday, #Tuesday here on your Feel Good Breakfast show. And I need you to help me elevate this basic look, if you will, to something a bit more hyped, if you will. So how would you say I should do it? I've got 2 options that I'm working with. Option 1 caters to a more contemporary but edgy look. So take a look. There's a straw hat over there with comfortable striped flip-flops, and then this mini crossbody bag that will add some edge, some ease to this look that I've got right now. Or you could go for option 2, which caters for a more sportier look. It's this baseball cap that features a grid-inspired pattern on it. Very, very fine pattern that you'll see when you get get nice and close to it with these mono black sneakers as well as this practical cocoon crossover bag. So which one would you say I should go for on this Tuesday to complete my look in terms of accessories? Now, if you know me, you know which one I'd go for, but it's all about you. Is it going to be the contemporary and edgy look or the cool and sporty look? The choice is yours. Head on over to Expresso social media pages and vote for your favorite set of accessories. And of course, don't forget to include hashtag Style by Woolies.
Oh, you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, you beautiful souls. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome back to you too, man.
Good to be back, sir. Thank you very much.
This is a vitally important conversation. I think so many parents will undoubtedly grapple with this at some point, and there is always this fear. But there is a vitally important day of awareness tomorrow. It is National Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder Day, or ADHD Day, with the aim of raising awareness around this disorder and how we can deal with it. Now, ADHD is a very common disorder which affects children and adults, and here to tell us a little bit more about it is a beautiful panel this morning. It's our psychiatrist, Dr. Laura Comrie, educational psychologist, Danielle Douglas, and Dr. Michele Van Zagi. Doctor, guys, welcome to it.
It's great to have you with us, and thank you so much for taking the time to weigh in on this very important topic. And perhaps we can start off from the basic point of view by defining what exactly ADHD is, Daniela.
Okay. So it's a neurodevelopmental disorder, which means that it's brain-based, and it can occur typically in childhood, but it doesn't mean that adolescents and adults are just not as equally affected. It does seem to affect more boys than girls, but that doesn't mean that girls are not being affected. I think that in terms of their presentation, they present very differently, slightly differently. So perhaps we're missing them as well. And the sort of the overarching difficulties is difficulties with attention, so struggling to focus, struggling to follow instructions, being hyperactive, so lots of movement-seeking behaviors, and then being impulsive, so struggling to regulate their behavior and their emotions as well.
So much of that kind of feels like the human condition. I kind of feel like we are all on a spectrum of sorts, and there are obviously factors that weigh in and influence us in that sense, and then we're dealing with our kind of genetic material. But I'm going to ask another very simple question. Maybe, Laura, I can put this to you. ADD versus ADHD. What are the core differences?
The disorder is actually called ADHD, and I think ADD is a misnomer. So with ADHD, there are different subtypes. You've got the inattentive subtype, and then you've got the hyperactive impulsive subtype, and then you've got the combined subtype.
Okay.
So ADD is really the inattentive subtype. So we see more of the inattentive subtype in girls. I think, girls are more trained maybe in the schooling system, or just, in their gender roles to sit still, be quiet, ladylike. And they often internalize their hyperactivity. So they feel quite restless inside, maybe, fidgeting on their chair rather than jumping up. And I think that girls, it's twice as more common in boys than girls, but I have a feeling that it's probably more similar,
seeing
and we're
it,
just not
yeah.
picking it up. So the ADD is the inattentive subtype. A lot of the time we see the combined. It's not unfortunately as clear-cut as we would like it be.
But we love to,
Yes.
with these sorts of things, we love to paint it with one brush and classify it.
Yeah.
There we go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And perhaps all too quickly, parents might be at a stage where they jump to conclusions because you've just mentioned a couple of things that they identify in their children. Oh, my child has this. Let's talk about professionally, Dr. Venzagi, how ADHD is diagnosed.
So I think, like we're all saying, you know, all of these psychiatric brain disorders are so difficult to classify because human emotion is such a big part of growing up.
Right.
Yeah.
And a school environment puts you in a position where you're like going through transition and, you know, socially you need to adjust and you need to change. So there is a DSM-5, which is a criteria that or in medicine we use because we like to say, you've got this, 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 and this, and therefore your diagnosis is this. In psychiatry, that's obviously a little bit more difficult, but obviously there are guidelines that say if you have, you know, this many symptoms for this amount of time before this age in 2 different environments, then you have the diagnosis of ADHD. I don't think that's as important for parents and for like schooling children for them to know that, but I think that they just need to know about the core symptoms and what to look for in their kids, and then if they're concerned, to present to a psychiatrist and an entire multidisciplinary team who look at the child from, you know, a holistic view to make that diagnosis.
So it's more, so with regards to the diagnosis, it's you know, we encourage parents or teachers not to do the DSM.
Right.
Because we basically look at a number of things. We look at, you know, other things that might cause inattention. So there are a lot of other things that I think we're going to chat about that a little bit later. But it's, you know, you get a history from the parents, you get a history from the school. I personally, if possible, if finances allow or resources allow, do a full educational psychological assessment. I certainly did that in my own children before they were diagnosed. Just to collect enough information and to exclude other reasons for the presentation. I think that's important. Yeah.
Well, we're going to start crossing some of those things off the list, some of the other associated things that might go with this. Just for all parents, because I can feel my heart beating just talking about this.
Calm down.
It's okay, man. I'm getting a little hyper here. Because as you might have picked up over the last 10 years, I do struggle to concentrate sometimes. So there's a little bit of that in me. But I think all parents are thinking very carefully about what to do if this does present in your child. So we'll get into how we can approach this and, of course, hopefully empower you to do something about it. This amazing, and I did say beautiful panel earlier. You are beautiful panel, are not going anywhere this morning. Please weigh in if you've got any insights or a personal perspective. 063 408 8863. This is a safe place. We'd love to hear from you.
And it's safe, without a doubt. So please do get those WhatsApps through to us. Yes, 063 408 8863. Now, we do continue our conversation around our kids by bringing you a unique story of great intelligence. And she's only 2 years old. They call her Letu Nanas. She hails from Gauteng and she's attracting lots of attention with her special talent. It's toddler education right at the forefront of her game, and she's proving to be an ace at it. Now, here's a little inspiration for you. Check this out.
While other 2-year-olds are watching Blippi or Sesame Street, Letuktula Nongamopengu is making a name for herself on TikTok with nearly 1 million followers. They live here in Soweto, Johannesburg, so we decided to pay them a little visit. Dombi, thank you so much for having us in your home. It's such a pleasure to meet the two of you.
Welcome, Lucia. Thank you for coming.
I mean, we have fallen in love with Letu on TikTok. How old was she when you started teaching her how to read?
I started teaching her how to read when she was 2 years and 1 month, this January.
The week is red.
Nice.
It's a wig.
When did you realize there was something special about Letu?
I never thought there was anything special with Ulet. I just wanted to teach her stuff.
And what level of reading is she at currently?
She's on level 1.
Pink.
Outside of reading, what else does she enjoy doing?
She loves solving puzzles.
I can see she's on a mission right now. Letu, what are you doing?
Puzzle.
Puzzles. Now you guys have a TikTok account with nearly 1 million followers. Tell us about how that's been like to share the educational journey of Kaletu.
It has been very helpful because it has proven that what we are doing is important, and that it has also helped us to reach more parents and show them that it's important to put in the effort into your kids' education.
And also education is very important for you as well because you hold a master's degree in chemical engineering and you're a business owner. You own a tutoring company. Why is it so important for you?
I just love education. I started tutoring when I was 17 years old, and since then I've always loved, I've been into education.
The box is great.
Wow, nice. A proud mother and a talented and intelligent daughter, proving to everyone that truly the young ones can do big things.
Oh, I mean, come on. She is, without a doubt, the cutest thing. Letu Nanas. That's one name you've got to keep in mind because something tells me you're going to be seeing lots of it. She's going to change the world. She's going to save the world. Be on the lookout for that. What did you think of that? Let us know. Expresso Morning Show, SABC 3.
Oh, you can make my day.
Defeat your mucus monster, Mucofizz. Loosen mucus and phlegm for clearer airways. Brought to you by Pharmadynamics.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Tuesday morning on your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso on S3. Now, tomorrow is National Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder Day, with the aim of raising awareness around this disorder and how to deal with it. And so this morning we're joined by a panel of experts, psychiatrist Dr. Laura Comrie, educational psychologist Danielle Douglas, and Dr. Michele Venzaghi, who are still here to chat through this with us. And of course, we encourage your questions. Please send them through to us via voice note on 063 408 8888. 1863. And we do have some voice notes.
Yeah, let's start it off right there. Let's hear from Monique this morning. Let's get her personal perspective.
Good morning, Expresso fans. This is Monique from Durban. My brother was diagnosed with ADHD. He was so hyperactive that they had to put him on a medicine called Ritalin. He was on 50 milligrams on the age of 13, and he completely outgrew it when he was 16. And today he's 22 years old. He's completely relaxed and completely chilled out. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you so much for that, Monique. So there is hope there. Big word, Ritalin. We're going to be asking about that in just a moment. Let's squeeze in one more. This one's from Stella.
Good morning, Expresso. I've got a grandson that's 15 years old that has been diagnosed with ADHD, but this child is at that stage where he doesn't even want to go to school. He doesn't attend school regularly. He is on medication.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that, Stella. Some lovely insights there and things for us to kind of dig our nails into. And perhaps I can start off with you, Laura. Well, what I heard is a common thread of teenage years. Is that usually when one would expect for the condition to kind of present at its highest?
No, Danielle and I were just chatting now about our own experiences with ADHD. Generally, I have 2 kids and a husband with ADHD, asked not to be mentioned. But generally, if you're more in tune with it, presentation is between, 4 and 8 years old, generally. Okay. So teens are quite late to present, but as we said, it's a spectrum. And so, the more severe part of the spectrum, we see earlier on, and early intervention really is the key, and then perhaps later on, one's more the inattentive, or somehow it's been missed, or there've been other coping mechanisms that have been used. People might present later on. And in my practice, I think because I have a lot of experience with ADHD personally, and, I almost call it peeling of an onion. So you peel off, treat the depression, treat the anxiety. I'm seeing a lot more adults with ADHD and diagnosing a lot more adults. So presentation is generally earlier on in the early primary school, and then, we pick it up at different points.
I suppose, a 13-year-old boy can be a wrecking ball, and I think that may be why this presents quite extremely in that space.
Yes.
As the kids get older, they become less manageable. How do you tell a 13-year-old, force a 13-year-old to go to school if they're pushing back at every turn? I get that.
And to take medication.
Well, this is it. I'm so glad you used the word medication. Michaela, maybe I can put this to you, Doc. Ritalin was a terrifying word when I was a child, because I think it was being used so liberally, and maybe we didn't fully understand what ADHD was at that stage. Is this still the first go-to, or how do we approach treatment once we have gone through an exhaustive process of identifying where the child is in their own kind of journey in the space? How do we treat?
So I think what we're touching on here is the whole point of this day is to create awareness, And often people come to me and they say they've noticed that there's been an increase in the amount of diagnoses of ADHD, or like you said, it's generally seen in older kids, but because there's awareness and people are starting to understand the disease better, the diagnosis might be made more regularly, or in the earlier phases. In medicine we always say we like to take a multidisciplinary approach to every disease, but I think this is probably the cornerstone of where treatment is not only medication. The role of Ritalin and the role of Concerta, obviously, like you said, there's stigma attached to it. People misuse the medication a lot, and I think that adds to the stigma of Ritalin. But someone who's got ADHD, the neural cognitive disease requires something that can help them to settle that.
Makes sense.
So there's no specific case that's going to say this person definitely needs medication, but I think that every case is an isolated psychological assessment, and saying like, this person definitely needs Ritalin, but in addition to that, they're going to need, cognitive treatment and support from the entire team as well as their parents. And the school, I think, is also a really important player in that.
I'm just thinking of the poor creche and the nursery school teachers that have to be that front line defense when this starts to emerge. I really do get that. And I think it's also about giving the tools to be able to cope. When you talk about multidiscipline, for instance, in my case, being introduced to martial arts really young gave me a way to control that energy and channel it. Wasn't a cure-all, but it certainly did help, and it empowered me, and it certainly empowered my mom to be able to do something about it. Keep those comments coming. Great voice notes already. 06340888863. We'd love to hear from you. But I think it's time to get back in the kitchen. Do something that boosts the mood and get into a bit of cooking.
Yep, let's bring it to the kitchen. Our very first one for this morning. Did you know that activities like cooking can assist people with ADHD? Did you know that? The best mashed potato recipe, that's going to teach you something that you ever will make, has a smooth, creamy consistency, and it's achieved with the use of dairy. But if lactose intolerance is a challenge for you, then we've got good news for you. Thanks to Clover No Lac lactose-free range, we're showing you just how you too can enjoy dairy again with these creamy mashed potato cakes. They're stunning. You're going to love them. And here to help us make them is the good doctor, Michele Vansaki. Michele. Okay, so you're busy this morning, eh?
I'm busy, but I could.
Busy?
You know, that's my two favorite things in the world thrown together, so I'm not complaining about that.
Cool. So this is really fantastic, because I think that a lot of people who suffer lactose intolerance often find themselves sort of stuck not knowing what they can eat, what they can't eat, or what variations to sort of add to their recipes, right?
Absolutely. I mean, this product is really nice, especially in something like this where, you know, people would often think like, taking out the lactose is going to take from the flavor or the consistency or like, you know, that heartiness that often comes from things that people need to cut out of their diet. So this is a really nice recipe just to showcase how well this product can play that role.
And I think it's a creative recipe as well. So take us through the ingredients. What have we got here?
Okay, so we have this very nicely prepared bowl of mash. Obviously, this would be the bulk of the time that you need to prepare this recipe. What I'm going to be doing is just showing you how to throw together some flavor profiles. But, you know, you can, what I like to do is I like to roast my potatoes, peel them and mash them. You get a much drier consistency, which gives you a better outcome in terms of the cake.
In terms of the look and feel of it as well.
Of course, the consistency is just so much better, but you can also boil them and then take off the skin and mash them.
Great.
So what we're going to do, we have, I think this is about 4 large potatoes that we've roasted and mashed. We have 1 egg, so that's going to go in.
Going in.
And then it's about a tablespoon of butter, give or take how much of a diet you're on.
That's it.
But it always adds flavor and it adds beautiful depth to the dish.
That creaminess, the texture, that's what we're all about, right?
And the butter is always the hardness of the dish. So what I'd like to do is, you know, just first get that in a little bit before you start adding your flavor profiles.
Okay.
And you don't want to add the flour yet because you don't want to overwork that. So as soon as that's in, just give it a nice mix up until you have, you know, just the eggs nice and bound into the eggs.
Because you can tell when it's sort of like bound nicely, right?
Yeah, just a quick stir, you know, it's really not too much of an issue. Okay, so flavor profiles, really up to the discretion of what you like. What we have always, very important, salt and pepper, obviously, season everything. We'll season to taste, we'll put in, we'll see if it's enough, but for now, just, you know, good amount of salt and pepper.
Good. And I know that you're an advocate of not too much salt. You always say not too much salt, everybody.
You can put in, but you can never take out. Continually tasting as you go is really important. Chopped chives gives a nice green appearance, you know, it makes them look really beautiful. Spring onion, a little bit of that tanginess to the cut all through all the fat of the potato, and the butter. A little bit of oregano, a little bit of chopped garlic.
Ooh, yeah.
That goes in there.
Okay, that's flavor.
That's flavor.
Everything you've put in there so far screams flavor. Now, if you want to get your hands on this recipe, go on to expressoshow.com. On there, you're going to find for yourself a list of all of the ingredients we're making use of this morning, as well as a step-by-step guide on how to bring them all together, bring this recipe to life. But I can tell you this one is going to be a crowd pleaser of note.
Cool. So then the crux of tying this together, making it a hearty dish, we have a little bit of flour. All right, so that's going to go in there. So potatoes hold themselves together quite nicely, but in this case, you need this little bit of binding agent. Okay, just put half a cup of that, and then
In goes
That's a
our
quarter
Clover Nolek. Now, I'll tell you what, this Clover Nolek has certainly caught my full attention. We know that if you experience symptoms such as, stomach cramps, you've got eczema, for example, bloating, which is a big one, actually. If you're feeling nauseous after, maybe eating dairy, you may be lactose intolerant. And I'll tell you this, I know this from personal experience. It does happen, and it's not fun. Now, the Clover Nolek lactose-free range of milk does, make it possible for you to enjoy dairy again. And like we said, it's a creative way, this, of eating and getting all of that flavor and all of those great recipes while still being lactose intolerant, which is really cool. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start preparing what do you call this? Our coating of those cakes as they come through,
actually,
right?
I mean, in this case, you don't have to do that too vigorously. You could put a little bit of spraying cook, anything like that. But that should be 100% fine. That's going to give it that nice golden brown appearance on the bottom.
Great. Okay, cool.
I just want to show you here something that's pretty cool about this recipe. When you put the flour in, you don't want to really whisk it too much. You just want to fold it in. Keep the lightness of the mashed eggs.
Okay.
And when you have this consistency that's smooth, there's no clumps, you've got your flavor profiles in.
Yeah.
Then you're ready for.
Then you get
plating.
it on here.
So what I'll do for you is,
will you do it for me?
I can show you. So you actually put that in the tray first. If you have a tablespoon, I'm actually going to do that.
You can use this one there. Oh yeah, you got one.
Fine. I've got one here. Then what you do, just to make
at
it
the
look
good
beautiful,
doctor go.
You get that into your ramekin. Right. So this is purely for the aesthetic value. You could just do this with your hands.
Of course, if you didn't have one of these, yeah.
Beautiful. So then you have a really beautiful. I mean, in my opinion, I'd probably do them a little flatter.
Yeah.
If you have a slightly bigger mold.
And if you had the time and all of that as well, right?
Panko breadcrumbs on top.
They go over it.
That gives that beautiful brown, nice consistency. And there you have it.
In the oven, it goes how long for? About 20 minutes?
Probably 180, 200 degrees. Give it that nice golden brown appearance. Put it in the oven, and then you have beautiful.
Fabulous. So there you go. Go and be impressive. ExpressoShow.com, that's where you will get your hands on the recipe. All of the ingredients are there, as well as the recipe. Take photographs if you do make these and show us what it looks like in your own home. Thank you so much, Michele Vansagi.
Thank you for having me.
Doctor.
Cool.
Made with love by Clover. Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show Tuesday, and it is a health-focused Tuesday because tomorrow we are looking at ADHD Day, where we are creating awareness around the country because it's a national day of awareness. We've got a panel of experts in psychiatrist Dr. Laura Comrie, educational psychologist Daniel Douglas, and Dr. Michele Venzaghi, who are still with us. And Debbie has sent us a voice note. Let's have a listen.
Good morning. I have a granddaughter. She's 6 years of age. She has all the symptoms. Can you please tell me where do I go to get her diagnosed, please?
All right, thank you very much for that, Debbie. Danielle, perhaps you could take us through the steps of where do you start and what to follow, what course of action.
Well, I was thinking now, where would she go? It obviously all depends, you know, what's available to you. Do you go private? Do you go government? If you go government, depends on your area. Are you going to go to Red Cross? Are you going to go to Tygerberg? There's lots of factors at play as well.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had the opportunity to go private, then Laura made a good, mention earlier that it's a good idea to get a thorough assessment.
Okay.
To try to understand, like you were saying, if there's anything underpinning that. Is it really authentic ADHD, or is it something else that's manifesting as ADHD? So if we can tick off all the boxes and say, well, maybe it's a learning difficulty. Are they struggling to pay attention in class because learning is hard?
Yeah.
So what is it? So you have to do all your, checks and balances and see, is it really what we're looking at? Is it really ADHD, or is it ADHD and something else?
Yeah, okay.
And anxiety.
And anxiety.
And then for somebody who doesn't perhaps have access to private healthcare, what would be the steps to follow there?
Definitely go to your local clinic.
Okay, local clinic, and they will then refer
and they will
you
then guide you.
The specialist that you need to.
Perhaps, sorry, just to interrupt, perhaps starting with the teacher first might be a good idea. And maybe asking the teacher if she's also seen this. And then, if there is someone at the school who can write, it's always quite nice to have a referral, so it's not just the nagging mum or grandmother.
Well, you're a team. Ultimately, you're a team, and you need to be empowering. Yeah, no, completely. And you need to be empowering your children's teachers. You should have that kind of relationship with them, and you should be able to talk to your children about these things and help them develop the language so that they can actually articulate what they are experiencing. Because I'm finding that more often than not, I am misdiagnosing what's going on in my little people, and because I haven't taken the time to fully establish. And often it can be something like, she's hungry. We often miss these things because we get swept up. Doc, maybe I can put this to you, Michaela. What goes through your mind when you're starting a treatment plan? What can we brace for? Are there side effects with these kinds of medications? Are there often secondary knock-on effects, like a depression, for instance, once you're moving out of a manic, crazy state of hyperactivity? What are those possible side effects when it comes to the treatment of ADHD?
So I think, as with all things, when you start treating something, many people have an expectation that there's going to be a dramatic change immediately. Ritalin is obviously a very short-acting drug, so that we do see significant improvement in symptoms very quickly. I think Laura probably would know a little bit more about, in terms of, what Ritalin, what to expect if you give your child Ritalin or Concerta, and how quickly that you establish that. It's so difficult with ADHD because, when do you say this person is cured? Or, it's so difficult because it's behavioral, it's psychosocial, there's interpersonal reactions, and our emotions have such a big role in how we interpret our kids' behavior as well. So I think that's a big thing. Obviously, all medications have side effects, from mild to massive side effects, but it's very difficult. It's so individualized. Not everyone gets all the side effects. Some people get
almost the most important thing to focus on, is the fact that every child is going to be.
And I think the most important thing is to look at the kid and just say, what are you battling with the most, or what are we all battling with the most? I've got 2 kids with ADHD. They present in completely different ways, and it's completely individual. And people have different needs. So you might have a kid who is finishing at lunchtime at school, and they don't have much after school that they need to focus on. So then starting with a short-acting, once you've excluded Ritalin, which would last 3 to 4 hours. So, it's kind of methylphenidate is the active ingredient, and then it depends on how long you need the medication for. I suppose, I grew up in a very natural, holistic family, and my feeling with the way I work is, the least possible medication for intervention, but the medication can be life-changing.
Absolutely.
So, because of all these other knock-on effects. So, just with regards to the medication, it depends how long you need it for. But generally, as kids get older or adults, you will need it to last a whole day. The big concern that a lot of parents have is the appetite suppression. And generally, what happens is that the kids, you get them to eat in the morning, they're not that hungry during the day, and then they are ravenous. Some kids battle to maintain the weight, but generally generally it's not such a problem. There has been some concern of maybe not, maybe not growing as they should, but that's not something that I'm worried at all. I think not treating severe ADHD is a lot more detrimental. There are a whole lot of other things that happen, and it's got to do with, like my son described having brain breaks. So literally he would sit in class and stare out the window and he would catch about 10% of what was going on. Luckily, he's bright kid, so he was doing well. But imagine that it kept on going on. Imagine his confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. And the first thing you want to do is punish him for not concentrating. Yeah. And I get that. I completely get that. I wish we had hours to be able to talk about this and the three of you on speed dial. Wait, hang on a minute. I think I might have the three of you on speed dial. We might just utilize that. But I'm so glad you mentioned the fact that your son experienced something like that. And we forget this is not something that's happening to us. We get the knock-on effect, yes, but this is happening to our children. Imagine being caught in that, in the maelstrom of emotion, not being able to concentrate, to have that added pressure. It must be exhausting. So let's help our kids. We have the opportunity. We have got ADHD Day tomorrow, which is quite ironic that it's that long for this particular disorder, but that's what we are hopefully filling you in and empowering you around today. So please keep those voice notes coming. If you have a perspective, we'd love to hear from you.
Thank you very much, team. Now we continue with our health focus. This time around, we are making a winner, awarding a lucky winner. Yes.
Free to be you. Live, work, play, sleep, allergy-free with Allergies non-drowsy.
Now, we do know that allergies can create such obstacles in our lives, and often they do result in us having to miss out on the things we love to do, the things we enjoy. But thanks to Allergies non-drowsy, this doesn't have to be the case anymore. Now, this week's Allergies winner, well, is about to be announced, and we continue to spoil our viewers with that 2,000 Rand Take-A-Lot voucher. All you have to do is answer one simple question. How do you prepare for spring if you have bad allergies? And today we've got a lucky winner, and our lucky winner is, drum roll please, it's S. We got your Gineilwe. Come on. Oh, Bikanyo wrote in and said, I stay indoors on dry and windy days, avoid getting into the garden, those gardening chores, and stock up on medicine in cases where I will need them. Hashtag AllergiesND and hashtag Expresso Show. Now, we do have Bikanyo on the line this morning. Bikanyo, good morning.
Good morning. Hi.
Miss Kat, how does it feel to be the lucky winner today?
I'm so happy. I don't know. I'm very happy. Thank you.
I'm so happy for you. Okay, so what kind of chores do you do in the garden? Let's start there.
Well, I do gardening for my mother, and we have a garden here, flowers and so forth.
Yo, who busy moskokhenu ne? Oh my word. Now, what do you plan on getting from Take-A-Lot with this 2,000 Rand shopping voucher?
Oh, I needed an extension for my studies, so I had so much on my card. So and something for my daughter too.
Oh, nice. Somebody's going to be shopping. I love it for you.
Going to be a lot of shopping.
Oh, man. Listen, I'm so jealous, but I'm so happy for you as well. Happy gardening. And, of course, you do know that you can count on Allergies non-drowsy now to get all of those chores done without any worry, right? You're certainly going to be embracing spring again. It starts with a bit of shopping thanks to Allergies non-drowsy. Now, not only that, but you can also stand the chance to win a 2,000 Rand Take-A-Lot voucher of your own as well. If you want to be like Bikanyo and be in the game, this is how you enter.
Spring is glorious.
Oh, sorry. Oh, bless you, man. Bless you. Unless you suffer from allergies. But that has all changed with Allergies non-drowsy and the wonders of spring competition on Expresso this September.
So stand a chance to win a daily giveaway Monday to Friday of a 2,000 Rand take-lot voucher to spend on the best outdoor living gear.
I love that. So answer the weekly question on the Expresso Facebook or Twitter pages and include that all-important Allergies ND. The competition runs from the 1st till the 28th of September, and those terms and conditions do apply. Good luck and bless you, man.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
The people we love are the ones that need us most. That's why I took out life insurance from Old Mutual, so he'll always get what he needs, even if I'm not there.
Speak to your advisor and help your family get ahead of life.
Here's a fact. There is no way of knowing what the future will hold, but there's a very specific way to plan for it. Life insurance, it certainly does protect your loved ones from the potentially devastating financial losses that could result if something happened to you. It's a necessary step to take. Now, joining me this morning is Kensani Baloyi, a product expert from Old Mutual, who's going to unpack all of that for us. Kensani, thank you so much for joining us once more.
Thanks for having me.
Kensani, we know that there's great benefits to having life insurance, but I know that in your role, you've certainly seen so many stories of families be helped by insurance. Please maybe just take us through some of those experiences that you've had.
Absolutely. So life insurance provides a lifeline for many families during their greatest time of need. And I mean, Tabiso, we work incredibly hard to provide for those that we love, right? And we want to make sure that when we pass away, they're not left, you know, like with their lives turned upside down, not knowing where to go for financial assistance.
Oh, yeah.
So what life insurance does is that it gives them that peace of mind that they'll still be able to maintain the same quality of life when we're no longer around. So it basically plays the role of, you know, filling that financial void that our deaths leave in the family. So it allows them to continue going to school, you know, living in the same house, seeing to their living expenses and whatever else they need in that time.
One frequently asked question around life insurance is whether or not it does cover all causes of death. What's the answer there?
So you'll remember in one of the previous episodes, we spoke about the 4 different types of life insurance products that Old Mutual offers.
Yes.
So 3 of those 4 products actually cover both accidental and non-accidental death. So what this means is that if someone dies as a result of an illness or dies in a motor vehicle accident, then we will pay out. And the 4th product covers accidental death only. And this is a product that typically someone who cannot get the other 3 due to medical reasons would take out.
Okay.
So we do cover quite, you know, a wide base, and we cover quite comprehensively.
Can you only claim then when it's time to claim, right, and becomes necessary in the event of death or for a terminal illness?
It's a great question you ask, because depending on the type of life insurance product that you choose, we actually do pay out if you're diagnosed with a terminal illness and have less than 12 months to live. And I mean, looking at 2021 alone, we paid out 156 million rands in terminal illness claims. So that, yeah, absolutely, so that our customers could make the most of their last moments with their loved ones.
How do I go about selecting the right insurance product for me? Because there are so many options and people find themselves having to deal with a variety of different circumstances and having to consider what those are against the type of life insurance cover or product that they've got to take.
So I always recommend that whoever's shopping around for life insurance reaches out to a financial advisor, because what they do is that they sit down with you and do a very thorough financial needs analysis, looking at your personal circumstances, your affordability, what you need, what your family needs, and then after that they're able to recommend a set of solutions or a life insurance product that suits those specific needs that you have. And if anyone's listening and doesn't have access to a financial advisor, I do encourage them to visit our website on allmutual.co.za/life or to phone us on 0860 60 60 60 to get in touch with one of our financial advisors.
And we have seen, Kensani, time and time again how important and how necessary those financial advisors are in that decision-making process, because being able to have someone look at your very individual but also really unique circumstance and be able to give you advice that's tailor-made to that, I mean, come on, you can't put a price to that.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Kensani Baloyi, for joining us today. Product expert at Old Mutual. I love these conversations we've been having. A lifeline when your family does need it most, and that's what life insurance does provide you. So please do reach out to the Old Mutual team today and let them help you find a life insurance option that really does suit your needs and get a hold of your life insurance situation.
What do you want to play?
The people we love are the ones that need us most. They'll always need a place to call home and opportunities to build their future.
Daddy, come.
That's why I took out life insurance from Old Mutual, so he'll always get what he needs, even if I'm not there.
Get 5 million rand life insurance for only 509 rand per month. Speak to your advisor and help your family get ahead of life.
The Times has gone 1 minute past 7 o'clock on this Tuesday morning. Let's take another look at the news headlines. On the national news front, South Africa's Deputy President, David Mabuza, will represent President Cyril Ramaphosa in Nairobi today at the inauguration of the new Kenyan President, William Ruto. Ruto's victory was confirmed by the country's High Court after opposition leader Raila Odinga contested the outcome of the election. The Minister of International Relations, Naledi Pandor, says South Africa is sending a delegation to the inauguration because of the strong political and economic relations between the two countries. Meanwhile, President Cyril Ramaphosa has assured displaced residents of Jagersfontein that the government will rebuild their houses. A mine dam collapse has left a trail of destruction in the Free State town, rendering scores of residents homeless. Ramaphosa said the cause of this incident would be investigated. Now, one death has been confirmed. The president visited the injured residents who are still hospitalized, where more than 80 people were taken to various hospitals and most were treated for hypothermia. The majority have been discharged. On the international news front, on foot and flanked by his 3 siblings, King Charles III yesterday led a somber procession carrying Queen Elizabeth's body through hushed Edinburgh streets in Scotland, packed with some 750,000 mourners. Now, huge crowds are expected in London too, when the late monarch lies in state for 4 days at Westminster Hall from tomorrow. Infrastructure has been set up in preparation for the miles of queues that are being awaited. The Queen's funeral on Monday is also expected to draw unprecedented numbers to London, as well as hundreds of world leaders, including US President Joe Biden. Meanwhile, the Zimbabwean opposition party Citizen Coalition for Change, the CCC, says the leader Nelson Chamisa survived an assassination attack at the weekend. The party says Chamisa's convoy was attacked with explosive devices on its way to a political rally near the town of Chinoyi yesterday. The CCC says the venue where the rally took place was also pelted with petrol bombs on Saturday. The party blames supporters of the ruling ZANU-PF for the attacks. The Zimbabwean government has not yet responded to these allegations. Now, Violet Bulawayo of Zimbabwe has made Africa proud again. At the age of 40, she's the youngest author to make the shortlist for the Booker Prize, the leading literary award in the English-speaking world, which has brought recognition, reward, and readership to outstanding fiction for over 5 decades. Bulawayo is also the first black woman from Africa to be included twice on the Booker list. There are 6 writers from 5 countries on the 2022 shortlist that bring a wealth of truly fabulous fiction. Bulawayo has been nominated for her novel Glory. Now, in 2013, she was nominated for her debut novel, We Need New Names. The winner of the Booker Prize receives £50,000. Now, both the winner and the shortlisted authors are guaranteed a global readership, and Bulawayo grew up in Zimbabwe. At the age of 18, she moved to Kalamazoo in Michigan in the United States. She studied at Cornell University and she taught fiction at Stanford University in the US. She currently writes full-time from wherever she finds herself, and a massive congratulations to her for this incredible recognition. Well, that's it for the news at 7 o'clock right now. Here's another look at what's happening in the world of sports.
Thank you so much, Kat. While we consider our underachievements today, let's focus on cricket first this morning. Unfortunately, not the best news. A bit of a bombshell dropped by Cricket South Africa yesterday with the news that Proteas head coach Mark Boucher will be stepping down from his role after the 2022 T20 World Cup, set to take place in Australia next month. So in a statement, CSA said that Boucher, quote, has decided to resign in order to pursue other opportunities in line with his future career and personal objectives. Now, Boucher was appointed as head coach of the Proteas in December of 2019, and during his tenure had a pretty successful run. The side registered 11 wins in the Test arena to go along with those 12 ODI wins, and then another T20 or 23 T20 wins there as well. And the CSA said that Boucher's successor would be announced in due course, so we'll certainly watch that space closely. Now on to rugby. It hasn't been the best rugby championship, but we're going to hopefully close out strong. Springbok hooker Bongi Mbonambi has now joined or rejoined the national squad in Buenos Aires at the moment, and this happened yesterday after completing the initial stages of his recovery from that knee surgery that sidelined him before the second rugby championship test up against the All Blacks last month. Springbok head coach Jacques Nienaber said that Mbonambi's recovery would be assessed this week with an eye on possibly getting him ready for contention for selection for the team's closing rugby championship test against Argentina down in Durbs, and that's on the 24th of September. Nienaber added that he will announce his squad for this weekend's game against Los Pumas later today. Then on to footballing news, and a lack of football on the Premier League front. At least 3 Premier League matches have now been postponed this weekend. That's obviously ahead of the funeral of the late Queen Elizabeth II. So Chelsea's home game with Liverpool and Leeds United trip to Manchester United have been called off. Brighton against Crystal Palace had already been called off because of rail strikes and remains postponed. Then the other league matches between the 16th and 18th of this month will take place after football paused last weekend as a mark of respect following the Queen's death. The Queen's funeral will be held, as Kat said, on Monday the 19th of September. Then on to Formula One. Williams driver Alex Albon suffered respiratory failure and was treated in intensive care following appendix surgery over the weekend. So the 26-year-old had an operation on Saturday but suffered, quote, post-operative anesthetic complications and was as a result put on a ventilator. He came off that ventilator, thankfully, on Sunday morning and is now back on general ward in Monza in Italy. Williams say he should be returning home later today. We certainly hope that's the case and that the story ends well. But that's where we leave our sport for this hour. Let's see how the sport out on the roads is looking as the traffic wakes up.
Boy, busy times already on the roads. Graham, thank you so much for that. Let's take a look. Belleville, out in Cape Town, there is congestion. That's on the R300 northbound at the N1 inbound ramp. You can expect delays this morning if you're traveling in that area. If you're out in Sandton, Johannesburg, there is a stationary vehicle that's on the N1 northbound after the Rivonia Road ramp, and the left lane is currently closed, so please approach with caution. If you find yourself out in Benoni, still out in Johannesburg, there is an accident that's on the R21 northbound after Benoni Road, and the left shoulder of the road is closed, so please do drive carefully. Allow yourself some extra travel time this morning and keep it safe on the roads. Up next, your weather. Now, with so much hype as of late concerning people on the moon in the near future, we look to the skies this morning with the news that Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket suffered a booster failure after lifting off yesterday morning, causing an emergency abort system. The unnamed mission was expected to reach the edge of space and return in a series of suborbital flights. It was the 23rd mission for the rocket, which has carried more than 150 commercial payloads. Flames could be seen on the live broadcast of the launch shooting from the booster just over a minute into the flight as the rocket pushed to max Q. Now, the point when aerodynamic stress on the vehicle reaches its maximum. Some 30 seconds later, the parachute system deployed as the capsule drifted back for a soft landing on the ground. A 90-year-old Star Trek star, William Shatner, who played Captain Kirk, was one of the passengers who ventured into space on the very same rocket earlier this year. Ah, man, that is quite a hectic and a very dramatic takeoff there. Now, from rockets to sunrise views. First up, we have Milda from Pretoria, who took this shot from outside her home of the early morning skies, slowly starting to light up. We also got this one from Lesedi Mudau, who snapped the shot of the fiery clouds glazing up the horizon out in the distance over the luscious greenery in Mpumalanga. We also got a beautiful one from Lloyd Bosman out in George, who shared the stunning view of the vivid pinks brightening up the town while starting his morning with a cup of coffee. How's that? What a way to start your morning. And finally, we have Desiree, who sent in this magical shot of the trees swaying in the wind with such blazing colors in the background. How beautiful is that? What a spectacular shot. And that's out in Pietermaritzburg. Thank you so much for those pictures. We do it again in just over an hour, so please do send us your views on 063-408-8863. Now, another look at your temperatures across the country. We start off with Polokwane. Sun and clouds today, 10 is your minimum. Your maximum temperatures today, 21 degrees. Mbombela, expect plenty of rain today, 14 is your start. You will peak at 17 degrees. With the capital city, Pretoria, expecting sun and clouds today. Your low, 10, reaching highs of 24. Johannesburg, sun and clouds, 9, your minimum. Your maximum is 22, with Mahikeng at 12 and 27. Klerksdorp starts off at 11. You will peak at 27 degrees today, with Kimberley sunny times for you, 10, your minimum. Your maximum temperatures, 25. Bloemfontein, 6, and a maximum of 25, with rainy times expected out in Richards Bay today, 15, your low, reaching highs of 19. Rain in Pietermaritzburg as well, 10, and a maximum of 20, with some sun and clouds for Durban, 16 minimum and a maximum of 20. Mthatha, 7, your low, reaching highs of 21, with some sun out in East London today, 11 and 20. Craddock, 5, reaching a maximum of 22. Gqeberha, 11, that's your start. You will peak at 19 degrees, with George coming in at 9 and 18. The mother city, Cape Town, 11, peaks at 21, with Worcester coming in at 10 and a maximum of 24. Sutherland, sunny times, 5 and a high of 20, with Uppington coming in with a minimum of 10 and a maximum of 29 degrees. And that's what it's looking like across the country. But what we are really interested in seeing is what it's looking like with your sunrise views. Get those through to us on our WhatsApp line. That's 063-408-8863. Graham, what's happening?
Well, with a smile to light up the sky, Samantha Mundo, a gospel singing sensation, is here. And yes, looking like she's ready for a front row seat at New York Fashion Week, which is where we're headed. We'll bring you some of those highlights, some of the major fails as well. So stick around for that. We're back in just a moment.
We are business owners working with business owners. Cashflow Capital, business funding that works for you.
Your generosity can ignite a love for reading amongst our youth. Share your homegrown story. See Cadbury Story Edition packs. There's a glass and a half in everyone.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso. We're live here on S3. Thank you very much for choosing to start your morning or your day with us. Indeed, you have started on the Feel Good side of life. Now, if positivity and upliftment is what you need this morning, well, listen, our next guest has it by the heaps, okay? I'm talking about 16-year-old singer Samantha Mundo. Grounded in her faith and love for music, she is bringing the message of good news to the masses with her signature brand of, relatable music with positive messaging, and it's targeted at young people like herself. And her latest single, I Win, proves just that. Let's take a listen.
I win with Jesus. I can do all things.
Come on, that is all the feel good we're trying to be getting this morning. Oh yes, everybody, a warm Expresso welcome to Samantha Mundo. Oh yes, my young princess. I mean, that is incredible. You put a smile on my face, without a doubt, on lots of people's faces this morning as well. But it's your family that's gotten you here. Yes, you've got a love for music, but they've sort of propelled you and said, go forth, do your thing. Tell me that story.
Yeah. I literally always had to push my parents and tell them I love doing music. And until they took me seriously. And now they take me seriously, and now they're pushing me to, pursue my career in music.
Where did it all begin for you? Because this passion must have stemmed from somewhere. And why gospel music? Tell me all about that.
So I grew up in church, right? And it started when I saw my parents, in the choir, and they sang every Sunday. And I said, I want to be that, and I want to do that. And I chose gospel because also I want to preach the word and preach the gospel to the youth and everybody else.
And what is it about gospel specifically? Yes, you obviously grew up in the church, and of course, I imagine that it's because your family, took you to church and sort of pushed you in that direction.
Right.
But what is it about gospel that sort of captured your attention when so many people around your age are, getting lit, man?
Right.
It's all about the debauchery.
Right. I think being in the presence of the Holy Spirit really did lead me in the gospel way. So just being in the surrounding of the Holy Spirit, feeling His presence, and knowing the love of God just pushed me in the sense of gospel.
Faith. It's all about faith,
Yeah.
and that comes through so strongly in your latest single,
Right.
I Win. Lots of themes that you cover there, and it's such a feel-good type of sound. You certainly are sort of cementing yourself with this particular one.
Right.
Tell me the story of how this single came about.
So when we wrote I Win, we based it off Psalms 23 verse 4. And Psalms 23 verse 4 literally speaks about how we know that the Lord is with us, even if we're walking in a very dark path. And at that time, I really also needed a song to encourage myself. So I needed something to encourage me in what I was going through and what I was also facing in school and everything. So I wanted a song to encourage me and my peers.
And do you mind sharing what was going on during that time for you specifically?
Right. So in school, it was kind of also getting hard for me to explain why I do gospel, why I want to do music. People wouldn't understand, my peers wouldn't understand, and also I wasn't getting the support that I expected from my peers. the love and the support I wanted from them is what I did not get.
Which was obviously very stressful
Right.
for you. But look at you now, Samantha. Here you are, a brand new single, lots of performances lined up, which we'll talk about. And of course, you will get to hear her smooth, absolutely flawless voice as she takes to the Expresso stage. We're very excited to have you here. And of course, you can connect with us, Expresso Morning Show, SABC3, as we go along with the show. Let us know what you think of Samantha. Maybe not so much Samantha herself, but her vocals, because those are going to be coming through heavy. Samantha, welcome.
And our resident vocalist, Kat, is really excited to hear this young starter do what she does. The soundcheck was insane, so sit tight for that. But of course, Kat also asked for your help this morning. He needed you to help him choose between 2 sets of accessories to make his look complete, a little bit more stylish. So here were your options. First up, we had this contemporary but edgy straw hats, nice comfortable striped flip-flops, and a nice, I think, mini crossbody bag. Pretty cool vibe. I like that. Option 2 was a little bit sportier. Baseball cap with a black mono sneakers and then a practical cocoon bag as well, because bags, we need them. So let's have a look at what you said. Zelandia said number 2 will be looking good on Kat. I like that. Melanie Adams said, I think option 2. So we've got 1 shining through in the early days. Magumera saying morning family, option 2 will look good on you. Namita saying option 2. Charmaine saying anything Kat wears looks good on him. Yeah, baby. Thank you for saying that. Chrissy saying option 2, more stylish and sporty. Jamila saying, morning, the cap and sneakers will suit Kat. He'll look very sporty. I like that. Glenessa saying, good morning, Kat. Definitely. Option 2, I think we have a winner, but let's see for ourselves. Oh,
You know,
no.
Hasa udizena, udizena.
I like it.
Leshapukara. SDD. Vod. Pegai.
Feeling the vibe. I actually like it, dude. I like the continuity. Of the black cap. How do you feel, man?
I feel good. And as I said when we were doing the segment at the beginning, if you know me, you know me.
If you know me, you know me.
And you definitely know me. This is the look that I would have gone for.
It's a vibe. It's chilled. It's relaxed.
It's everything I need, you know? Man, it's got to secure the bag. Always
nice,
make sure the bag is secure.
It's a little bit edgy, but it's cool, man. I absolutely like it. You can see how he feels in it. So well done. Thank you, South Africa. You chose right. You chose well. You're masters.
Show South Africa.
Absolutely beautiful.
Show
and you can stand out from the crowd. You can get these stylish accessories, obviously, in Woolworths, in store, online, on the app, or from Tapiso. You can find them.
Show South Africa.
Beautiful.
Show Bantanas. Show the everybody. Okay, all right.
Revlon color stay matte like crayon. Play it up. Bold matte color goes on as easy as a crayon. Feels barely there. Super soft, 12 rocket poppin' shades. New Revlon color stay matte like crayon. Wanna play?
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Yo, welcome welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast show, guys. Yo, this Tuesday just took a turn, eh? Yo, Tabiso's been having me. And just I need the break. Do you want some lip ice?
Do you keep a wallet or do you have like a
I have everything you need here, Graham. Whatever you might need, I have it here in my cocoon bag.
Little
whatever you might need.
Maybe.
No, lip ice matter sort that out later.
For sure.
Later,
no, anything you want.
I can believe that.
See, here's the deal. You have proven how good your fashion sense is. Thank you so much. So we thought we'd return the favor and hone in on one of the biggest fashion events in the world all year. Yes, New York Fashion Week is massive, and it sends, I think, shockwaves across the world. Some newcomers, and of course, those fashion icons. This is where everyone looks for their fashion true north.
Absolutely.
And at this week's New York Fashion Week, we linked up with the one and only Jen Su, who brings us the scoop on this season's event.
Absolutely. Now, one of the biggest highlights for South Africa this year at New York Fashion Week is 11-year-old Mossel Bay-based model Giselle Aller. Now, she's also known as Miss G, and she finally got the bite of the big apple in New York at the Fashion Week. She was given the opportunity to fulfill her dream by Amelia Tu, this year's Miss Canada Universe 2022, who debuted her design label Tu. And Tu was very impressed by Giselle's maturity and her leadership qualities and commitment and focus as well. So Jen Su caught up with Giselle's mom, who couldn't contain her excitement for her daughter's achievement. Take a look at this.
We actually saw when she was small that she actually had talent. She was singing and dancing in the house the whole time. And at 8, we started putting her into like top model and, you know, all these contests. And she went to IMTA. We were so glad she got a call back for that. She's doing very good with her singing and modeling and acting. And for us as parents, we are so happy that she can actually do her dream and still be a child, because actually that's the big thing. We still need her to be a child. So she loves playing with dolls still, and she swims a lot. We go to the beach, and we are just so excited for her.
I love that there's balance, right?
Yeah.
I love that balance, the support that she's getting from her family. That's beautiful. Oh, Miss G, baby.
What an opportunity, man.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Incredible. To do that at that age as well. So special.
And she's a triple threat as well. So that's going to be one name to be on the lookout for. Now, Jen Su also got the chance to chat with Giselle herself, Miss G, otherwise known as, about the rehearsals and her take on what it is like being in New York City. Check this out.
Hey there, and a warm welcome to Expresso. I found her, Giselle, our 11-year-old South African supermodel.
Hi, I'm Giselle. I'm from South Africa, and I'm here at New York Fashion Week, and I'm so humble and grateful to be here. So it's been going really well in New York. I've been having so much fun and trying new foods. It's been really fun. Sometimes it is not really easy to be in this industry, but I just want to say thank you to my friends and family for supporting me. And I'm really, really happy that my mom's here with me. She has been supporting me every step of the way, doing my hair and makeup, getting me ready, and always helping me be on time for all of these events. And I'm just so grateful to have my mom. I wouldn't be able to do it without her. I remember when I just got here, there was a show on, so there was girls that are walking, and it was so cool. I feel fierce when I'm walking. I feel fierce, and you know, it's a weird feeling to describe. It's just, you know, you feel so good. One thing I want to say to South Africa is thank you so much for all the support that you have been giving me, and I feel so grateful and humble to be here in New York, and thank you for all of the support.
I don't think we're going to get her back. I don't think we're going to get her back to South Africa, man.
Confidence is fierce.
Everything fierce. That's what she said.
Right?
Absolutely
Lovely.
awesome, man. Absolutely incredible. Well done, Giselle. So what is a fashion roundup without choosing the best looks? This year's 5 hottest New York Fashion Week best dressed. We have got them for you now.
Yeah, our fashion team really combed through all of the fashion there. So first up, we have Kendall Jenner in this stunning floral dress, embracing celebrating the season of spring. What do you think of that, Tabzi?
I mean, I think that is the look of spring.
I love the simplicity of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe some would say a little too simple, but I suppose when you reach that level, maybe you don't have to make a statement with absolutely everything you wear, but you'd think New York Fashion Week maybe...
Well done, KJ.
I think
maybe the simplicity
KJ.
is the statement that she's making.
That's it. Olivia Culpo, I like her. She's dressed in Carolina Herrera. Look at that stunning jumpsuit with that detail. You can see the detail, which is really, really interesting and hard to do with a black number.
That's actually true. And I love that it goes through all the way to the detail there on the leg, on the side of the leg. It's giving MJ vibes.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh!
Yeah. It accentuates her features. I mean, look at the waist area cinched nicely there.
Great for an after party, eh?
There we go.
Yeah, man.
Or
Sleek,
pre-party.
sassy,
Or
yeah.
pre-party.
For the full 24 hours, she is fine. She's going to be rocking. She's there for the pre and after. She is sorted. Now, of course, one name generally makes lists like these. Gigi Hadid, always exquisite. She was ready to sit front row, as you can see. An off-white two-piece set, if you will, and a beautiful marble skirt. An incredible look. A lot going on there, but it pops. But I suppose when you're that gorgeous and that kind of frame, you can pretty much wear anything.
It's the stomach out for me. The stomach out.
You know, when it comes to stomach outs, if that's a thing, the stomach out refers to the top, right? It's a crop top.
It's like your stomach is out.
Sierra kind of popularized that. But I mean, look at Sierra now in this stunning all-black pleather outfit. A statement piece for sure. I mean, she's always been known to make a statement wherever she goes, and she's really not letting the team down there.
Yeah,
Russell
with a sassy leg there, just to spice it up as well.
Sure. I know Miss Scott is coming through. Hey,
Miss
player. Listen to this one. Player, I get it.
Oh.
Doja Cat.
Oh.
Hound dog. Hey, she was stealing the spotlight with this pastel blue outfit. Came through like a hound dog on some woof, woof. Oh.
I get it.
I get it. No, I get it. I get it. I get it.
Clearly, all of the fashion being served up at New York Fashion Week. Let us know what you thought about our picks of the best dressed out. Maybe you get it.
Well, you got it.
You know me. Securing bags.
That hides your crop top with the bag. You got to just move it so we can see your stomach.
Stomach is still very much within. Still very much
You can do better. Okay, now listen, standing by to bring you some motivational music magic is Samantha Mundo. I've been waiting for it all morning. We all have.
Yeah, man.
Here she is with her first performance, and it's called Njabulo, which means happiness. Okay, Samantha, do your thing, Miss Scott.
Within it resonates. It's what I deserve, hear what I say. I wanna be happy. Let's Njabulo. I wanna be happy. Let's Njabulo. When I let's Njabulo. wanna be happy. I wanna be happy. Let's jabulo. Let's jabulo. I wanna be happy. Let's jabulo. Let's jabulo. I wanna be happy. I wanna be happy. Let's jabulo. Let's jabulo. I wanna be happy. Let's jabulo. I wanna be happy. I wanna be happy. Let's jabulo. Let's jabulo. I wanna be happy. Let's jabulo. Let's jabulo.
Come on, it is Samantha Victor here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. We're jamming into your Tuesday. How do you like that? Let us know. Expresso Morning Show, SABC 3. I'm in the fields. Let's. Aye. Now. We'll see.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked on this beautiful Tuesday morning. There is a healthy vibe, so this fits right in. A healthier you starts with you and your plate. We have proven this on the show. So Koo are going to be taking us on a nourishing journey in season 2 of Color Your Plate with Koo. The launch event was a spectacular success, and of course Kutle had to be there to get her own front row seat.
South Africa's favorite food reality competition, Color Your Plate with Koo, is back for a flavorful season 2. And Koo is continuing with the journey of encouraging Mzansi to become healthier. I'm here at Molitsva Orthodox Mediterranean Restaurant in Johannesburg for the official launch event of this exciting SABC2 show. Timby, so you are hosting this official launch for Color Your Plate Season 2 on SABC2. Tell us about the vibe, what's happening behind you. How is it going so far?
It is colorful. It is filled with incredible people. The vibe is amazing. Everybody's here to just enjoy the launch of this auspicious occasion.
No, please talk to us about the inspiration behind the idea of the show.
So it was quite simple for us to come up with the idea for the show because we've been part and parcel of South African households for so many years. So what we did was that we understood that 7 colors is part and parcel of what we do as South Africans. So coloring your plate was a notion that we are saying, actually let's educate South Africans to color their plates. And that's how we came up with the name.
Corinne, first of all, you are looking absolutely stunning, bringing the color alive. Please give us a brief overview of what the show structure is about.
Color Your Plates is a 13-part episode cooking reality show, and what's great about this show is that each week there are hero products from Koo that the contestants are then challenged to recreate amazing dishes with. The contestants bring it each week and it's just so wonderful. I think as viewers you can expect to experience all the emotions. There's shock, there's tears, there's laughter. I think you're gonna back your winners this time. What we've done differently is that the first 6 episodes we choose one winner from each, and then from there you can start rooting for the winners that you would like. I think you can also expect to be inspired to see the different usages for Koo that you would never have expected before, and just so much creativity from the contestants.
Chef, looking and smelling absolutely divine in the kitchen. Talk to us about season 2. How is it different from season 1?
I think we've made it less complicated, so it's more kind of direct. They've got a better understanding of what we're expecting from them. The first season was a success, so you don't want to mess too much with the recipe. You know, if the recipe works, pardon the pun, you don't want to mess with that.
Edna, can you please tell us more about Koo's brand purpose and the reason for bringing back Color Your Plate with Koo Season 2?
You know, we are so excited because our brand purpose is around growing the best to nourish you best. And we at Koo want to make sure that South Africans are nourished with a product that is locally sourced, locally farmed, for them to be able to make those easy, healthier choices every day.
You know, color denotes the different benefits you're actually going to get, you know, from the different vegetables that you have on your plate. So the more color you have, the better. You know, 7 colors is something that we love in South Africa. It should not only be left to Sundays, but we need to have it every day.
Starter was kind of nice, you know, like I like salmon because salmon's got a bit of fat in it, so you have to cure it a little bit to get more flavor out of it, and then we just lightly sear it because I don't want to cook it too much. We used chakalaka, and I added some lemon juice to it, some lemon zest, a little bit of butter, some caramelized onions, and they just folded that through there. And then I made a dill cream sauce, and we served it with fresh slices of just red delicious apples. And then the mains, we're doing beef fillet that's crusted with a bit of fresh herbs. We took baked beans, and we took the sauce of the beans, which got a nice sweetness to it, almost made it sweet and sour, serving it with this roasted beef. And then I made a tomato truffle sauce to go with it. Dessert, Koo peaches with passion fruit sorbet, and then we have a really nice sort of creme brulee custard that we're serving that with. So lots of good flavors.
I've never ever had gourmet food from canned food, so that was very interesting. Yeah, that's a first. Yeah,
we love desserts. We heard they are cooking something, a dessert with beetroot. Never heard of that, but we're keen to try it. It sounds nice. It sounds nice. My palate can taste it already. Yeah.
I grew up with Koo in our household, and I couldn't believe when at the end of season 1 Koo contacted me to sponsor 4 students to come to my school. So often at home we would just have beetroot on a plate, but my students have been incorporating it into scones and making beetroot scones, and you know there's so much you can do with the products, and it's just fantastic to get the inspiration from the contestants, especially to be watching the TV show.
It makes food accessible to everyone, good food accessible to everyone. It encourages people to be creative with their food on a budget while still understanding that whatever meals they're creating will still be nutritious.
We just finished the first episode of Color Your Plate Season 2. What do you think of the show?
First of all,
I'm super excited because obviously these are all family favorites, and now I get to interpret them in my 30s. I'm living by myself. I'm figuring out like what does my mom's favorites look like for me. So it's really cool to firstly see how to interpret that in a gourmet type of way, and secondly, quality of the delivery was amazing. The video was really good, like the way that they shot it, the way that we could kind of, it felt like I was zooming into the food and I was also there like a judge, which was really cool, like that 3D effect. I'm also super keen on the fact that they've got all these people that are super homegrown, that feel like our cousins, our friends, people we work with. So I think everything has come together to really show what KOO stands for in 2022, and to show that it's still a family brand, but it's still very much as fresh and as lively as we are.
We grew up with parents that created the most amazing meals out of KOO. I know my mom used to make the most amazing lasagna, you know, and using the beans and the fish, you know, things that I think remind me of home. So I'd love to see a lot more of the contestants really tap into their childhood, tap into being real, but giving it a twist that is a bit more modern.
You were a runner-up in season 1. How is it different this time around?
Well, it's not very different, but I can tell you that the fire, the drama, the cooking skills are there. I mean, I saw people who were plating up as chefs, doing swipes and all of that. And I can tell you that they are bringing the fire that we didn't bring.
The search begins for Mzansi's next cooking star. Make sure to catch Color Your Plate with KOO on SABC2 every Tuesday from 7 p.m.
Yep, you get to watch that moment of becoming. This is where foodies are discovered every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock on S2.
I was so excited, Graham. I was taking your lines. I was like, bring it to the kitchen already. Because all of this food talk is making me hungry, and I hope it's done the same for you. Now, you can show your vegetarian or your vegan friends all of the love by offering some plant-based options at your next braai, and you can get ready to enjoy the easiest plant-based braai you'll ever have, courtesy of Chef Clem, who's whipping up the ultimate veggie burger. And this is always a thing, right? Because, you know, especially there was that trend where people were going plant-based. They were like, no, we're not full vegan, we're plant-based. So they're looking for all the options to try and bring flavor into their food while keeping it nice and healthy. And this one, is this the real deal?
Full of flavor.
Yeah?
Full of flavor. And I feel, I got a question, like if you're a vegan or flexitarian 10 years ago, what were you eating?
Oh,
where'd you go?
To your garden, probably?
Shame.
Your own garden, and that's as far as you could go?
Yeah,
probably.
Well, today we go to Woolies for everything. Okay.
There we go.
I'm gonna go through with some plant-powered patties.
Lovely.
Okay. We can go.
I love that.
We can go with the Frankies. Oh, they got Frankies as well, and I love the fact that you got the brats as well. You got a combination of everything.
The Frankies and the brats. Okay. I love that.
Yeah,
Jawohl.
So literally, if you need options, if you want to play around, you know exactly where to go. So I'm gonna start by getting these on the braai because you can braai them and get some extra smoky flavor in it.
We're braaiing in the kitchen.
Yeah, they allow me to. We got a fire extinguisher on the side. Someone standing ready to go.
Health and safety is taken care of. Don't worry.
We've only needed them
twice.
The flavor. So, I mean, we're good. Kat, I'm gonna need you to make a nice vegan mayo for me.
Okay, cool.
The vegan mayo's done, so I'm like, what can I get Kat to do? Make it better.
What?
We're gonna add some beetroots to it. We're gonna add some funky color to it.
And that's why we have the gloves.
You know?
Yeah.
And anytime I need gloves for a recipe, I'm happy.
Especially when they're black gloves.
I feel like official.
Right?
It's like den. Like we're about to rob the flavor bank.
Here we go. Okay.
So Kat, you're on that. I've got some ready-made vegan mayo for you.
Good stuff.
I've got some beetroot, and here's where you can kind of play around with it. You can do raw beetroot.
Yes.
Which this one over here has got raw beetroot in it.
Okay, cool. So what am I doing with this beetroot over here?
These ones are just being like blanched a little bit. Mm-hmm. So you can add like 3. Let's start off with 3. Let's see what color we get.
3. Am I taking these and getting them into our blender?
Yes.
So 1.
So I made you put on these gloves, and the job is not even that hectic, but keep it on.
There we go.
Just keep the gloves on.
Lovely stuff.
I also like doing this recipe with pickled beetroots, baby beetroots, because you get that extra tangy flavor.
Exactly.
You've got some mustard powder, instant flavor when you get, you're a brave man.
See, I've done that.
If that mustard had to get you, you'd be out for the whole show.
Just, wow.
Done.
Corpse.
Okay, so that's good, and that's gonna give us like some nice, slight earthiness, but again, it's gonna like bring a little bit of that heat through. It's an instant way to add flavor. Mustard powder.
Mustard powder. Well, you could possibly also go ground chili, maybe? All right.
Absolutely. Play around with flavors, with extra chili sauces if you want. Just get some flavor in there. That's black pepper.
A little bit of that. We don't want to go too much, right?
Oh, I was going to say black pepper and beetroot are best friends. So you can, if you can kind of handle it.
Well, all right then. I'll go a bit more than half, right?
Okay, yeah, that's good.
We got some garlic.
Garlic.
We're going to add to it.
And we're going to go with a raw garlic clove. This one does get you as well. The flavors really come through.
Yes.
So the one is good. I'll very rarely ever do a recipe that's like 1 garlic clove. No, I'm like 10. But this one, believe me, 1.
Yeah, but that'll do. And because it's fresh, a lot more flavor packed into it as well. A pinch of salt.
Yes, a pinch of salt.
A pinch of salt. That should be about it. Maybe just... there we go. We're good. Okay.
You're good.
So, and then in terms of the mayo, how much are we going to put?
As much as you can get in there. I think you can kind of finish that guy, get it in there.
The entire thing. Okay. So you reckon that 1 clove of garlic is going to cover the entire quantity of mayo that we're putting in here?
So it's the same thing like when you make hummus. I think, and I believe, because there's so much oil and fat in hummus, because we got the fat that's in here, the fat carries the flavor of the garlic more intensely than it would normally by just adding 1 clove of garlic to a dressing.
I understand.
So it just gets you. It just gets you.
All right.
But if you wanted to roast some garlic at home, then you can add more, a few more cloves.
Lovely. Okay, so we're gonna go on the second setting.
Yeah.
Just get it. Oh, I love to see the process of the color as it changes.
It goes from coarse to perfectly smooth.
Super smooth. And of course, you could leave it slightly chunky if you wanted to as well. If you wanted some extra texture to your mayo. I'm gonna stop it for a second, open it up.
Give it a little...
Just give it a little bit of a... Hold on, there we go.
Got you.
What I wanted.
So burger patty is looking good.
So how do you... I mean, I haven't cooked plant-powered patties before. What's the kind of thing to look out for, that they are done right?
For me, the texture does kind of resemble the burger patty.
Right.
And at the end, everything is really cooked in there already. You want to make sure you heat it through, and the texture does change. It just softens a little bit as it heats through. You also want to get some serious char lines on there, because just like normal meat, you're looking for those char lines, because that's going to be extra flavor.
Right.
So once it is at temperature, you'll see it's just a little more pliable. You've got those char lines on it, you're good to go. Okay. And just like a normal burger, don't hold back. You can glaze your burger. So we've got some smoky
while
sauce.
it's on. Also, this is quite a nifty little kitchen, right? No, never mind the weather outside, whatever's happening.
We brine. We brine.
It's smelling great, by the way.
And you should get that, like, beetrooty flavor coming through, a little bit of garlic coming through. It should happen. Okay, some cheese. And obviously we're getting some vegan cheese.
Oh, look at you now. This is where you really, really impress your friends. And of course, you can catch this recipe on our website, expressoshow.com. Look at that! Perfect timing on the griddle lines that you've just gotten there.
There we go.
Okay, cool. And I think we're good to go.
That sounds good. That sounds good. Smells good. Everything's good.
Can you... definitely.
Look at that color. It's not artificial. It's Mother Nature.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, now, presentation.
Okay, let's go. Can I get some of your sauce?
The sauce is right here.
You got a spoon, I got a spoon.
Okay,
let's do this together. Let's do this together.
You go ahead. I'll bring this closer to you. How about that?
And I'm an awkward lefty, so you're helping me. There we go.
Okay, there you go. So you're going to spoon it.
You going to go for yours?
Yes.
I'll do mine.
I'll use this one over here if that's acceptable. Like
it's totally acceptable.
It's not double dipping. Right, so we're going to go over here. You know what I like to do?
Tell me.
I go dollop like that. I don't spread it because I want the pressure of the patty and all the other ingredients to kind of selectively spread it for me. Okay. And then you get a more natural spread.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I do, I feel you.
That's where I'm at with
Can I go with patty on you?
Oh, please, go ahead, go ahead.
That cheese will eventually just melt nicely because
that looks so good.
I see your strategy, it works.
So good.
Okay, some onion rings, some herbs, because, veggies anywhere we can. And onion rings are a vegetable.
Two, there we go. A little bit of greenery. I'm telling you, these black gloves really make a difference for me.
Are you feeling professional?
I feel super pro. There we go. Oh, look at that. Presentation. And then what do we have over here?
Some jalapenos.
Ooh, for that extra zing.
Yeah.
Oh, one solid one.
One.
Okay.
Let's go for it.
Me, I would have taken that one.
And like slice it up,
I would have done that, but we don't have time, do we?
No, we don't.
Oh man, listen, no, I'm gonna go with mine, and then you can lay the rest of yours.
And this is how you should do it at home. Get the kids around, get everyone around.
Woo! Hey, kids! Who's dropping things?
Throw things on the floor, and this is like everybody assembles their own burger.
Okay, there we go. So as I said, check out our website expressoshow.com to get the recipe. Beautiful stuff. Just like that. Could I add a dollop
Go
to mine
for
as
it.
well?
South Africa.
Look at this.
We're just out here creating art.
Oh, feast your eyes. Ladies and gentlemen, just let that do its thing. Beautiful stuff. And then, of course, you're going to add the top bun, and then you're done. Oh, the tower of deliciousness.
The focus and the silence in the studio.
Let's take a break while we just continue to marvel at these wonders of color.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Free to be you. Live, work, play, sleep. Allergy-free with Allergies non-drowsy.
Welcome back. It is your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso. Now with spring. Oh, yes, spring is here in full swing. Our allergies, they are also on high alert. They are going vus. And did you know that most people with asthma also have allergies? Did you know that? Well, allergies and asthma, they're very distinct conditions that don't always appear together, but they often do go hand in hand. And here to help us better understand this relationship and its triggers is Dr. Ismail Abdullah. Dr. Abdullah, good morning. Thank you so much for making the time.
Thank you for having us on the show, and it's good to speak about asthma because it's a very common condition, as we know. At least 10% of the world's population at any time would be having asthma. High mortality as well. In fact, in 2019, the WHO said about 262 million people across the world have got asthma. And in that year, they estimated about 500,000 people died of asthma.
Okay.
So it's an important condition that we need to speak about.
Very, very important one to shine the spotlight on. But what are the signs and symptoms of asthma? What do we look out for?
Well, asthma, as you've mentioned in the introduction, it is an allergic type of a condition, but that's one of the forms of asthma. That's your atopic or allergic asthma.
Yeah.
And those are it's the most common type, where 80% of the people would have asthma, would have an allergic component to it. But there's also the other types of asthma. You get occupational asthma, for example, where they get exposed to an allergen. Or you get the non-atopic asthma, where there's also not an allergy. You get exercise-induced asthma, as you know, in kids, where they get exposed to the cold air while exercising.
Yes. Yeah.
And coming back to the occupational asthma, we know that you must try and keep your workplace as allergic-friendly as possible, avoiding carpets, your feather pillows, etc. And as pulmonologists, we see some interesting cases. For example, there would be a condition called baker's asthma.
What is that?
Where people get exposed to the flour, the baking flour, seeing that we just come from the baking area that was on previously, where they get exposed to flour dust, and over time the airways get sensitized to the flour, and that brings out asthma.
So apart from, let's say, your baking flour and all of that, let's talk at the more sort of significant causes of asthma. What causes it, and is it something that develops earlier on in childhood?
Yeah, in childhood, then often the symptoms that they have at the time is one of cough, wheeze, runny nose, and that's where your atopic asthmatic comes in. They've also got eczema, allergic rhinitis, a bit of a snotty nose, if I can put it that way. Those are your common symptoms. And as time goes on, these symptoms can become more prevalent, and if it's not adequately treated, can cause permanent scarring and damage to the lungs. The difficulty in diagnosis is that in between these episodes or attacks, so-called, they are quite well. So it's episodic, you get episodes.
So they're not always
and this is the time, and this is the time of the year where we do see that, where your pollen count goes up, and and patients present often with the asthma symptoms.
I know a lot of asthmatic people, and I know that they often have to be brave. And brave is a conversation that we've been having so much on or about as far as Adcock Ingram OTC is concerned. So what does being brave mean to you, Dr. Abdullah?
I think it's getting up in the morning and facing the world. We live in quite a harsh world, and we need to face the world and pay our dues to the world and be of some use to other people.
Yeah.
And make other people smile and make them well.
Be brave enough to show up as ourselves while we're at it as well. Dr. Ismail Abdullah, you've been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. I hope that a lot of our viewers out there have certainly picked up a lot of learning there around asthma. Now remember, September is National Pharmacy Month. Yes, self-care is a human right, and your pharmacist is your partner. Now support your local pharmacy. They are a pillar of your community, and we know this about them. Brought to you by Allergies Non-Drowsy in association with Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave, building communities one pharmacy at a time. And don't forget, you stand the chance to win yourself that 2,000 Rand Take-A-Lot voucher daily, and this is how you stand the chance to win.
Spring is glory.
Oh, sorry. Oh, bless you, man. Bless you. Unless you suffer from allergies. But that has all changed with Allergies Non-Drowsy and the wonders of spring competition on Expresso this September.
So stand a chance to win a daily giveaway Monday to Friday of a 2,000 Rand Take-A-Lot voucher to spend on the best outdoor living gear.
I love that. So answer the weekly question on the Expresso Facebook or Twitter pages and include that all-important Allergies ND. The competition runs from the 1st till the 28th of September, and those terms and conditions do apply. Good luck and bless you, man.
The time has just gone 8 o'clock on this Tuesday morning. Here's a final look at your news headlines. On the national news front, President Cyril Ramaphosa has received an invitation to attend the state funeral of Queen Elizabeth. She was the UK's longest-serving monarch. Now, she passed away on Thursday, aged 96. The funeral will take place on Monday at Westminster Abbey in London. Some 500 world leaders are expected to attend the funeral, and Ramaphosa is also soon to visit the United States for talks with President Joe Biden. The two presidents are expected to discuss issues such as energy, climate change and food security in Africa. In other news, South Africa's Deputy President David Mabuza will represent President Cyril Ramaphosa in Nairobi today at the inauguration of the new Kenyan President William Ruto. Ruto's victory was confirmed by the country's High Court after opposition leader Raila Odinga contested the outcome of the election. The Minister of International Relations, Naledi Pandor, says SA is sending a delegation to the inauguration because of the strong political and economic relations between the two countries. On the international news front, Uganda has handed over $65 million as the first installment of a fine it was ordered to pay the Democratic Republic of Congo, the DRC, for invading the east of the country 2 decades ago. In February, the International Court of Justice ordered Uganda to pay $325 million. The amount covers $225 million for damages to persons, $40 million for damages to property, and $60 million for the looted resources. Now, the court ordered Uganda to pay 5 annual installments of $65 million between 2022 and 2026, with the first installment due this month. Now, on foot and flanked by his 3 siblings, King Charles III yesterday led a somber procession carrying Queen Elizabeth's body through hushed Edinburgh streets in Scotland, packed with some 750,000 mourners. Huge crowds are expected in London too, when the late monarch lies in state for 4 days at Westminster Hall from tomorrow. Infrastructure has been set up in preparation for miles of queues. Now, the Queen's funeral on Monday is also expected to draw unprecedented numbers to London, as well as hundreds of world leaders, including US President Joe Biden. And finally, 4 beautiful penguins were released back into the wild on Saturday from Lookout Beach in Plettenberg Bay, this after successful rehabilitation at the Deniqua Wildlife Rehabilitation and Awareness Centre in the Crags. Now, the regular release of penguins nursed back to health has become a major attraction in Plet over the past 4 years. Runner, Greenie, Redman and Elvis Blue were found in various locations suffering from injuries or parasite infestation. Runner was treated for internal parasites and named because he was always first to charge forward and gobble up his fish. Greenie, the juvenile penguin, always made sure he paced Runner to get to the fish first at feeding time. And on arrival, he was green tagged, and thus he was named Greenie. Redman was in a bad way after enduring heavy seas and inclement weather, and in rehab, he was always in the water diving and snorkeling. And Elvis Blue was in very poor condition with serious foot and eye injuries, but it was clear that these 4 are now fully rehabilitated and ready to take on the wild seas once again. So congratulations to the team for the wonderful work that they're doing all the way there in the Crags in Plettenberg Bay. Well, that's it for the news on this Tuesday morning. Right now, let's take a final look at what's happening on the roads as we prepare you to go to work.
Thank you very much, Kat. Let's take a final look at your traffic. If you are out in Johannesburg, Springfield this morning, there is a stationary vehicle that's on the N3 northbound after Marlborough Road, and the left lane has been affected, so please drive carefully in that area. If you're out in Cape Town, Borchards Quarry, that's on the N2 inbound, there is an accident over there after the ramp to Borchards Quarry, so please approach with caution. Aikenbosch in Cape Town, there is congestion over there at the N1 inbound at Yip de Jager, and you can expect delays, so please add extra travel time to your journey this morning. And that's where we leave it. Take it easy on the roads. Be safe out there. Here's a final look at your weather with Graham.
Thank you so much, Tubbsy. Well, it has been certainly a globally connected week and a massive one on the news front. And I think the environmental world right now is going to be looking very hard at King Charles III's handling of green matters with great expectations. So since he was a young prince, he has made his concerns and passion for the environment very well known, thankfully. And he's been taking concrete steps to live in a sustainable way and send that message out to the rest of the world. A former chief of Friends of the Earth, Tony Juniper, said he would go as far as to say that Charles is possibly the most significant environmental figure in history. That's incredible. Now, last year, Charles gave the opening address at the COP26 Climate Summit, saying, and we quote, "Time has quite literally run out," warning attendees of the dire state of the environment. But with the hashtag Green Monarch to be in this place and be able to continue to publicly pronounce his passion and concerns for the environment now that he is actually king, and definitely not. He has to be less outspoken, obviously, says Juniper, but others say that the new monarch is likely to continue lobbying for the environment behind the scenes, also driving sustainability, mental health and well-being as he takes over British royalty's top job. It's time for a change. Now, let's get into our final weather update this morning and take a look at some of your beautiful contributions this morning. Starting off with Nancy Governor out in Pennington in KZN. We love to see how she starts her day. This magnificent view while taking her usual morning stroll on the beach. We are a little bit jealous, yes. And just look at those waves crashing on the rocks. Absolutely exquisite. Thank you so much. And then we have this one from Roscha from Pretoria, who sent in this lovely photo of the sun rising above the houses with with the beautiful, graceful, fluffy clouds out in the distance. Love that composition. Then we had this one from Anonymous, who is also from Pretoria. This lovely one from outside her garden, showing off the subtle hues glowing up the sky. And then finally, we had this beautiful, captivating time-lapse sent in from Munira out in Plettenberg Bay. I wonder if she saw the penguins being released, showing us the sun rising and the waves rolling up against the shores. What a perfect way to start the day. What are we doing indoors, people? Well, let's see how we can entice you outdoors, but please keep sending through those beautiful morning views. You can drop us on our WhatsApp line at 0634088863. So if you are going to be stepping outdoors, let's see what temperatures we have in store for you this morning. Starting in Polokwane, we are 10 minimum. It gets you up to a high of 21 degrees. Mbombela, your low 14, going up to 17. Pretoria, 10 and 24, your range. Johannesburg, 9 and 22. Maheng, 12 is your low, going up to a high of 27. Clarksville, similar, 11 your low, going up to 27. Kimberley, 10 your low, going up to 25. Bloemfontein, 6 your minimum, going to a max of 25. Richards Bay, 59% chance of rain there as you kickstart your day on 15 degrees, going up to only 19. Moderate day in Pietermaritzburg as well, 10 and 20 your range. Durbs, 16 and 20 with a 25% chance of rain. Sure, the humidity will kick up there as well. Umtata, 7 your low, going up to 21 degrees. East London, 11 and 20. In Craddock, your low 5, going up to 22 degrees. Gqeberha, 11 your low, going up to 19 degrees. George, ranging between 9 and 18. Cape Town, 11 is your minimum, going up to 21 degrees. Worcester, 10 and 24 your range. Sutherland, 5 is where you start your day, but you go up to 20. And then Uppington, I suppose moderate by your usual standards. 10 is your low, going up to a nice moderate 29 degrees. But as we always say, regardless of the weather, make sure it's a beautiful day.
Oh yes, please. Make sure it's a beautiful one. But also, while you're doing that, bright and early tomorrow morning, we'll wake up, we want to see those sunrise pictures because we love them. We love them. Still coming up on your Feel Good Breakfast show, we're going to be spending some more time in the kitchen. We're making something delicious. Yeah? You see, when I look at you, I say you are a nice chocolate man. And a nice chocolate man like you deserves a nice chocolate pudding. That's what we're making, and I catch you in a bit later on.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Unexpected.
What do you
Unexpected.
say to that?
I do say I'm looking forward to it. And then also coming up, we speak about the news, of course, that is making rounds all around the world. The passing of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. And of course, we've got Nash Mercado and Shiraz ready, who are going to be chatting to us about the developments of what's going on right now in the UK as all eyes around the world focus on that part of the world. So stay tuned to your Feel Good Breakfast show. We'll be right back.
Chocolate.
Here we go.
James is on a long overdue holiday. All because he chose to invest in an electronic Optimum Plus account.
Yes. Seriously.
Be like James. Open a Nedbank Electronic Optimum Plus account and get an effective interest rate of up to 12.4%.
Oh, he's back. Move.
Clover fresh milk.
Made with love by Clover. It's my Feel Good Breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's a Tuesday morning. As always, we are so grateful to be in your company. Now, last Thursday, Buckingham Palace announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II at the age of 96 at Scotland's Balmoral Castle. Now, she served in her role for 70 years, and this made her the longest-serving reigning monarch in the history of Britain.
She's been our one common thread, really, and I think the significant milestone means that the UK public have never seen another member of the royal family in the highest seat of power, or very few of them at least. For many, Queen Elizabeth II was the only leader that they have ever known. Like I said, that common thread throughout most of our history. And now with her passing, many are wondering what is going to happen next.
Yeah. So today we discuss the Queen's passing and all that it entails, featuring our panel consisting of media practitioner Nash Makado, as well as entertainment reporter Shiraz Reddy. Thanks for being here, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yeah, Reddy.
Thanks.
Interesting time to be alive, and of course we'd love to get your perspectives, especially if you are a UK citizen and have a personal perspective. We'd love to hear from you as well. Please join this discussion. Any thoughts, experiences, maybe you've actually met the Queen, we'd love to hear from you. And of course you can drop us a WhatsApp voice note 063-408-8863 or join us online.
Absolutely. So Nash, we've been getting all kinds of reports from all kinds of angles around the world. Has there been any details forthcoming regarding the nature of the Queen's passing?
Well, so far it just has been the varied responses. This has been the significance of it. You've had responses that range from the militant, the philosophical, you know, the emotive, but the question that I find that's standing out right now is how is the new King Charles going to lobby the British government to redress the problems of colonialism around the world?
Yeah, because it feels like there is an opportunity now. And I think that's been this line that's needed to be walked here. Well, yes, we want to show our respect and we want to commemorate an incredible life lived in servitude. It has been, regardless of your thoughts of the monarchy as a structure, when we look at her personal devotion to her role, unmatched probably in history, which is remarkable in itself. But we've got to get through a certain amount of ceremony in this. And one feels for the grieving family that don't have the time. King Charles III now not being able to. We saw how visibly shook he was yesterday, having to stand vigil. What are the plans in place now? How is this all going to play out, building obviously towards the funeral?
So it's quite, obviously, like you mentioned, it is quite an administrative heavy process. It started about a week ago, almost a week ago. It is a long 9-day process. It starts obviously with the Prime Minister, Liz Truss, who obviously needs to go acknowledge the body. She then obviously got the message from the Queen's, or the late Queen's secretary, and then she ushered the coffin into Westminster Abbey, where it's now resting and waiting. And the public gets a 3-day grieving process starting on Friday, ahead of the funeral taking place next week, Monday. But the family in between have all sorts of media obligations, and I think that must be really hard for them and emotionally taxing during this time. But more importantly is how everyone in the UK, in the United Kingdom, and across the world has come together to support them during this process, this really, you know, rather difficult time. But also, I just love how the King has come up and said, you know, I'm going to take my moment, I'm going to stand proud. And with, you know, now Camilla, the Queen Corset, who is a part of this process and is really getting the support needed, but it is a process that has been really administrative heavy. But I think they're doing really well.
Yeah.
They're doing
And
really
he
well.
looks ready.
Yeah.
Or I suppose he's been preparing his entire life.
His entire life. And you know, you speak of the outpouring of support and mourners who've gathered from all around the world to be there in support of not just the monarchy and the family itself, but you know, for the people of the United Kingdom. But there also, Nash, have been many detractors whose focus has been, and you mentioned it earlier on, the stigma and the legacy of colonialism. And perhaps if I could offer you a moment to maybe speak on that, if you will. What is your stance on what you're seeing and how you feel about it?
Yeah, really, the moment has been undermined. It's from a place of protest. It's from a place of hurt. But this is a significant moment in our time where we have to pause and reflect. this is somebody who reigned for 70 years and whose legacy can be traced 1,200 years. You know, like her lineage can be traced 1,200 years back into the past. So
incredible. Man.
Even though there are political ideas surrounding the empire that she presided over, and even when some say that there are problems that we should be focusing on in the world right now, this is a significant moment of our time, and we surely have to pause and reflect and see how her reign affected the world and how she served her people.
Yeah, an opportunity for all of us, I think, to pause and think at the moment. But of course, we haven't mentioned Harry or Meghan once this morning, so we are failing miserably. We will be chatting about the family and the celebrity that has been attached to that family over the past year. But yes, we are talking about the passing of Queen Elizabeth II at the moment. And of course, now stepping into that space, King Charles III, who is now the reigning monarch of the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth.
All right, breakfast, the most important meal of the day. It's about to be served. And this next recipe has a regal twist to it. It's a dreamy dessert that can be enjoyed as breakfast exists. Our sip-up chocolate chia pudding parfait. Now, it is all about ticking all of the boxes when it comes to making, you know, that perfect make ahead of breakfast type of setup to simply grab and go in the morning. It is stunning. And here to make it for us is Samantha Mundo, my new favorite person, Samantha, without a doubt. Okay, so you are good in the kitchen, you were just telling me now. Like you spend lots of time there.
Yes, I love cooking.
Really? Okay, cool. And breakfast, is that very important for you?
Yes, it is. First meal of the day.
Yeah.
It's really important.
Okay, let's go. So you are making this for us. So let's take us through your ingredients there.
Okay, so this is cocoa, and this is maple syrup, this is vanilla, and this is cinnamon.
Okay,
and then
great.
this is sip-up.
I love sip-up, obviously. Okay, so let's go.
Okay, let's go. So you put your cocoa.
So this is really all about, you know, giving that person looking for a grab and go on the move type of breakfast, right? In a hurry.
Right. This is really easy to make if you're in a hurry for work or for school.
Perfect. So you're just mixing and adding all of those ingredients together so far.
And then you add 2 sip-ups.
You strike me as like a very neat, like, cook. It looks like, you know, you've got all of your ingredients there and like you've got it all laid out, no mess, no spilling, nothing like it.
I try.
You try. Now getting that sip up in there, we know that if you're looking for a drink to keep you going throughout the day, you can grab any flavor of your favorite Clover sip up and level up your game. And it does come in a variety of flavors. For this particular recipe, we're making use of our Clover sip up low-fat drinking dairy snack with choc chip. This is our choc chip flavor. One of my favorite ones, granadilla, is actually a standout for me as well. You were just telling me that strawberry is your fave. I love it. I love it. So you're mixing all of that together to get a really nice consistency. And I can see, no, you definitely are someone very, very good and handy in the kitchen. The way that you're mixing all of that together, bringing it from the outside in is telling. It's telling.
It's giving, isn't it?
It's giving. What else do you like to make in the kitchen? I mean, if you like to cook, I'm very keen to know what it is that you typically prepare for your family.
I love making, my favorite is making like a whole 7 colors meal.
Samantha Mundo.
So I actually make 9 colors.
Tell me more.
Time. So I'll have your potato salad, your coleslaws, all the type of salads, you know, your beetroot, obviously.
That's your thing?
Yes, that's my thing.
It's your spillion?
Yes, and obviously you can't forget ribs. I love ribs.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so I always put in my ribs and everything. I just make a lot of foods all the time.
But you are a feeder, without a doubt.
Yes.
So what is the next step in our recipe?
So then you just pour it in here. And you can serve it with strawberries and berries and then put it in the fridge.
I love that it looks really nice and rich, right? You want to get that. You want to make sure that you get that chocolatey richness coming through. So my job is pretty simple today. Once that is done, I sort of just rock up. Got our nuts going in there. You know, you want to make sure that it looks pretty as well. These, I mean, you could use your flakes, almond flakes like I'm using now, but you could also use nuts, right? right? So depending on whatever it is that you've got at home. And then I'm going in with our strawberries, which you are going to get in there. Okay, maybe not a whole strawberry going in there, but what you might want to do with it is sort of like, you know, cut it there and do like a pretty arrangement. There we go. You either cut it.
It's giving.
It's giving, right?
Instagram vibes.
It's already giving Instagram vibes. Once you've taken the photo for Instagram, obviously, then you can eat it.
You're right.
Or actually just put it inside your glass there.
That looks
How does that look?
I like it.
I'd like you to taste it and maybe let us know what you think of this breakfast on the go. Give it a try. Get in there.
Okay.
Look at that richness. It's the richness for me. How does it taste?
I like the flavor.
Ne? How does it taste?
It tastes like childhood memories.
Oh, it tastes like childhood memories, and this is from an absolute child of 16 years old. I love it. All of the memories of your 16-year-old life. Love it. ExpressoShow.com if you want to get your hands on the recipe. But if you missed any of the steps involved in making this really delicious chocolate pudding, take a look at this quick recap.
Made with love by Clover. Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back as we continue our discussion about the recent passing of Queen Elizabeth II and those implications for the UK and indeed the rest of the world going forward, because this is, as much as we'd like to work around it, a global event. And we return now to our wonderful panel this morning consisting of media practitioner Nash Makaro as well as entertainment reporter Shiraz Reddy. Thanks, guys. Enjoying this discussion, but it's proving to be quite an emotive, polarizing thing to actually think through.
Absolutely, and we'd love to hear your thoughts as well. We've got a voice note from Ronald. Let's have a listen.
Expresso. Yeah, it feels like we've lost a mother figure. She was loved by everybody, all over the world. Yeah, but our condolences to the family, and I have no words, really.
I'm from PE. My name is Renelle Stevens. Thank you for a great program.
Thank you, Renelle, for that contribution. And of course, I think the one thing that we can't tear ourselves away from is that there is a family who have lost a mother, a grandmother, a figurehead.
They're constant.
And of course, that is immensely emotionally painful. And from a ceremonial point of view, as you were talking about earlier on, there's a lot of protocols that need to be adhered to in the following days, culminating in the service, the funeral service. So maybe you could take us through some of those protocols that are going to be observed in terms of operation, as it's been called, London Bridge.
Yes, and obviously as we move into what is going to be one of the biggest watched funerals on TV next week, Monday. It's going to be taking place, obviously, at Westminster Abbey. However, the family has decided to do a smaller ceremony at St. George's Cathedral, rather late on in the afternoon, and that is just for the close family and obviously friends. There will be no government figures. We're talking about it off air about how this will affect that process. However, they are going to ensure that they give the public an opportunity to grieve. They have 3 days from Friday up until Sunday to go to Westminster Abbey and pay their respects, that being obviously the public of the United Kingdom, which is very important, you know. And I do believe that, again, the royal family will take to the streets like they did for the late Princess Diana, but however, the procession will be a little bit smaller, and just to keep with that poise, you know, that the Queen always had, of keeping things together and subtle and to the point. And that's exactly what they're going to be doing. I think it's really important to honour her in that way.
Yeah, and I keep using the word continuity. If you think of how much has changed over the 7 decades that Queen Elizabeth reigned, she pretty much remained as a constant, which I suppose maybe frustrates some that there wasn't more of a shift during that time in terms of what the monarchy represented. It's a job. Nash, it's a gig. So what's on that resume? What is King Charles III going to be expected to do now that he is king? What's on his roster?
Well, there are things that he has to do for the nation itself, and there are things that he has to do for the Commonwealth of Nations, because, you know, his reign is going to go beyond the borders of the United Kingdom, right? So I think what he's going to need to do, that the Queen has had her whole life to do, is to endear himself to the people of the nation. You know, he's going to need to reassure people that it is still possible for the monarch to, you know, be a sort of moral compass for the country, but also give the necessary guidance for the nation to remain as strong as it is. As much as around the world calls to abolish the monarchy have, you know, been made, it has worked for the people of Britain, though some might argue that much to the detriment of, you know, others. Yeah. So. Yeah.
And you know, there's those voices to contend with, and then also those voices within the monarchy. When one puts a highlight or a spotlight on the whole Meghan and Harry saga and royal titles, as you know, Archie and Lily, are they going to be prince and princess? What's happening there?
They get the title of His Royal Highness Prince Archie, and obviously Her Royal Highness Princess Lilibeth. You know, William's kids as well. They also get new titles. They are well in there, and yeah, they get to walk around and be like, I'm a prince and a princess. And if anything, I think that now is the time where the family will really come together and groom those young royals.
Because it's vitally important, because you don't know when that moment is going to be. My heart went out to William in particular. We were joking earlier, with all due respect, we were joking that it looked like he had aged about 30 years in that moment. I think the weight of his responsibilities, and in fact that Fab Four, it changes now. It's all been kind of great to talk about it in the sense of celebrity and what it means to Hollywood and what it means, but now it's a very different phase of their lives as the next generation. Nash, how do you think this is going to change their kind of role and existence? What are you expecting from the Fab Four, this younger generation of royals?
The relationship is going to depend much on William and Harry's relationship. There's a feeling that Harry needs to be re-anchored in the union of the family. He felt before that his father did not stand up for him and his wife well enough when you were having the whole media saga.
Yeah.
Now that William is going to be assuming more duties as the heir apparent, how is that going to have an effect on their relationship? Is it going to have them drift further apart, or is it going to bring them closer together because now maybe because the father is in a better position to make decisions for the nation, but to also make decisions for the family? We could be hopeful that the Fab Four will remain close, intact.
Yeah, and the hearts seem to be in the right place.
Absolutely. Well, we'll continue our discussion regarding this world event, this world phenomenon that is occurring, that has resulted in the eyes of the world now focused firmly on the United Kingdom. Of course, you can send us your voice note, 063-408-8863. Let us know your thoughts.
And now we elevate the feel-good a little bit right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, back on the Expresso stage with Samantha Mundo. Her next performance is part of her latest work. This one is called I Win. Samantha, do your thing.
I can do all things. Win. I win with Jesus. I can do all things. Yeah. Pampadia. More than a conqueror with Jesus. I can do all things. Yeah, yeah. With Jesus, I can do all things. Yes, I will. I win with Jesus.
Young talent, only 16 years old. Oh, yes. A young princess, Samantha Munda, here on your Feel Good Breakfast show. That one is called I Win. It's her latest project. It is available for download on all leading streaming platforms, on all of them, each and every single one of them. Go and support this young lady. Let us know what you thought of the performance as well while you edit on our Facebook page, Expresso Morning Show, SABC3. That song certainly dedicated to everyone who's going through a tough time right now, who can't imagine a breakthrough. You will win. It is possible. It's on the other end of struggle because you are capable and you are worthy. I win.
Tropica is back with the best of the best in the All-Star Season 10 of Tropica Island of Treasure. All the stars will be competing to win big, and so can you. Simply buy a Tropica promo pack, follow the details, and enter for a chance to win your share of thousands of smooth prizes.
The more you buy, the more chances you stand to win.
Catch the All-Star Season of Tropica Island of Treasure on Saturdays at 6:30 on SABC3.
Tropica, nothing smoother.
Switch to Red on SA's leading network and save up to 10,000 Rand when you trade in. Get the new Samsung Z Flip 4 on a 600-minute Red Core More voice plan for 1,439 Rand per month over 24 months. Plus, get a 1,000 Rand Shop Gert voucher and enjoy more benefits and rewards. Further together, Vodacom.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back as we delve back into what is proving to be quite an interesting discussion this morning about the passing of Queen Elizabeth II. Now, since her passing last Thursday, commentators, academics, spiritual leaders, the public, all of us, I think, have been taking to social media in some way. I think fully wrestling with the British monarchy's lasting influence in light of this passing. It's forced us to hold up a mirror and do some deep thinking. And once again, we are joined by our panel consisting of media practitioner Nash Mercado, as well as entertainment reporter Shiraz Reddy. We're going to wrap up our conversation now, but thank you so much, gents. This really has been great.
And Nash, we can't shy away from the emboldening effect of the passing of Her Majesty and its effect on people out there to really voice their opinions, where others have been on the side of mourning, others have been reflecting, as we said earlier, on the historical atrocities perpetrated by the British Empire. Why do you think that this has become such a pertinent thing? I mean, obviously, over the years we could have been talking about this, but why now?
Well, the death of the Queen is a significant event. It's an event that has placed the whole world on pause. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like one of those events that just forces people to reflect, and you know, it almost seems as though people wanted to mourn the death of the Queen, but also they wanted to use this as a platform to highlight some of the challenges that have that the world has faced due to, you know, the misadventures of the British Empire. Mm-hmm. You know, so yeah, while it is the time to actually pause and reflect, I think that the discourse surrounding the passing of the Queen has been quite rich. It has been from academics, it has been from religious leaders, it has been from so many areas in society, really. So Yes, this is a significant event that has facilitated a gamut of ideas and, started a very interesting dialogue.
I think it's important that we manage our expectations through this process, because I think a lot of us want to see a big shift, want to see a big change. If we haven't seen it in 70 years with the opportunities that have been presented, I don't think we're going to see a massive shift now. Hopefully we will see a redirection of energies of sorts. One of these little mini battle lines that very interestingly has come out now has been centered on the jewels, on the diamonds, some pretty sizable...
A big debate.
Big diamonds. Literally. Lots of carrots have gone from here.
The Star of Africa or the Cullinan?
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people have been saying, well, this is the time to give it back. What are your thoughts here?
I think it is time. I think that we are worthy of getting it back. I think now is the moment. And I think in memory of the late Queen, I think that it would be only right. Many would debate that, no, it should stay with them, or with the royal family rather, but I believe that it should come back, and again in memory of her and the time that she did spend here and work in building what is now our democratic republic. Prior to that, the history of it in an era that has to be dissolved, and by bringing that back we can close that circle. And I believe that that is an opportunity for that circle to be closed by returning those jewels.
And perhaps, that's just one of the reparations that people from across the world are saying should be a consequence of where we are right now in the passing of the Queen. What are some of the other, in as far as you've read and have filtered through your research, Nash, those reparations that people are expecting at this time?
Well, one of the things that keeps coming up in conversation is, of course, the land issue in former British colonies, But I think that King Charles, the first step that he could make is to maybe borrow Pope Francis's blueprint, where he has been going around the world just acknowledging the pain and the suffering that has occurred at the hands of the Catholic Church. So I think the first step is to probably just travel around the world and,
symbolically that'd be huge.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And by the way, about the diamond that has to be returned to South Africa, it kind of reminds me of these birds that were stolen from Great Zimbabwe. The Zimbabwean birds, they went around the world, but then now slowly they were returned to the country. I think a couple of them have been returned to the country now, and there still remains one or two that are outside of the country.
In private collection.
Yeah. It could be a good thing for King Charles III in establishing his own style of, leadership, to say, hey, here's something that was taken from you. It is not us. I heard it's worth $400 million.
Yeah, look, it would be interesting to see what could be done with a shift in resources in that sense. Looking at a positive spin, because we are in a state of flux, and we've seen a lot of nations making these reparations. We've seen a lot of artifacts being returned. We saw a story recently in Nigeria. So it seems like nations, certainly European nations, are understanding that there is a need to at least put their hands up and admit culpability at this phase. And if you look at the current generations, you might not have committed those atrocities. Your one responsibility, starting, is to admit what happened. So at least we need that dialogue to be there. What is going to change? Do you think there is a space for the monarchy still? And I mean this in the notion of what a monarchy is.
We spoke about this briefly earlier on, and my personal opinion, and I'm pretty sure there are quite a few people that agree with me, and then there's those that won't. I believe it's time to come to it's an era that can come to an end. I know that even in our very own country, there are spaces where people still believe in that, but I believe it is time for it, an end of an era, and also just to remind us of the past. It's a constant reminder. And I think that we need to move forward, and to come to your point earlier on, I believe that King Charles III can start that. He should pioneer that movement, or rather try to. Yeah.
What's your standpoint on that, Nash? The abolishing of the monarchy, or the concept of monarchies around the world? Obviously, the stark focus is now on Great Britain. What is your stance on that? Because they are a massive symbol of tradition, of
certainly
heritage,
on this continent.
Legacy, on this continent as well.
Yeah.
But obviously, as I said, the focus is now where it is.
It is indeed reminiscent of a very, painful past. But I think that the relevance of the monarchy really stands with the British people. you know, it's the people that are being served. Does it still serve them? That's the question that that is being asked. You know, they are the ones who have the power to either put an end to this or to sustain it. How do they feel about this symbolic separation of power added on to the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary? How do they feel about it?
It's going to be one to watch. I think we've given you some gristle to chew on this morning, so I hope it has inspired some critical thinking on your part. But as this applies to our little corner of Africa, some very big questions raised, and hopefully the entire world now is asking those questions at the very least. But we have to still, at this moment in history, recognize an incredible life lived in the servitude of her people of the United Kingdom. So we do send all of our thoughts and prayers to the members of the United Kingdom at this moment in this time of mourning.
Well, let's bring it back to the kitchen and have some chocolatey fun. Why not? Because driven by passion, dedication, and an innovative spirit, Lindt Master Chocolatiers, they create the world's finest chocolate. And today we're going to have lots of fun because we're going to have a Lindt Excellence blind taste test. And how it works is that I've got Graham and Kat going head to head. These two will be blindfolded, and I'm going to give them each a Lindt Excellence block to taste and identify. What happens is then the winner will then walk away with Lindt Excellence. All right, gentlemen.
Yes.
Welcome to it.
Somebody said chocolate and I responded.
But as you should, because what did I say to you earlier on?
Indeed.
It's now time to get into the game. So how good are you at identifying the different sort of flavors and the flavor sort of strengths of chocolate?
Well, I've been to the cocoa farms of Ghana.
Okay,
and I've had a bit of a taste of raw cacao. So I think my palate should be refined enough to distinguish. I'm not saying I'm claiming the top spot, but I'm just putting it out there.
I was confident until I rocked up here. Now they look all identical, and now my brain is going, they're the same thing, they're the same thing. But this, admittedly, is a challenge I'm willing to take on.
Yes.
I'll do it, man.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's get this game going. You guys have blindfolds there in front of you. Yes, you've got them in your hands there.
It's a blind?
It's a blind. No, it's not. It really isn't that.
Wow.
So get that on.
Okay, thank you.
And you've got all these different blocks. I hope you guys have seen exactly where they are. Make sure not to knock your block off the counter while you're at it. Let's get going with the game. Okay, cool.
Where are we going to start?
The first one. Okay, so we're starting on your right. So you're going from your right towards your left. Okay.
This is it.
So,
I've got it.
So your block one has an intricate balance of buttery sweetness, taste it, with subtle bursts of salt, so nicely balanced. What is it? Can you tell what it is?
Salted caramel, baby.
Hold on.
Is that what you were picking up?
I'm going with a more citrus flavor. There's a wait. You know. So citrus flavor on that. It's a pretty.
No, there's
looks darkish.
Okay. Well, the answer is caramel salt. So Graham was correct. Is that salted
And he changed his
caramel?
answer. So where does that apply?
It's delicious, man.
All right, so it is a delightful, crisp, buttery caramel with delicate salt crystals. Nice and sweet, and a great option if you are new to dark chocolate. That's definitely going to be the one. And
we're on the second one now.
Here you go. So this one, it was your first one. Okay, so Graham and Kat. A point for Graham. Kat, you're on 0 there. Let's go. And the second one, this Lindt Excellence is masterfully blended, full-bodied, and so smooth. What is it? Wow. Can you tell what it is, gentlemen? Let's hear. What is all of that?
There.
That cocoa farm experience bringing through, Kat?
Wow. Wait.
Is it coming through? Are you picking it up?
Is that a cranberry?
Okay, all right.
I was going to say, it's like a fruitiness.
There's a chewiness to it.
Graham, what are you getting?
Afterthought, like an aftertaste, just a hint.
Does it linger nicely? Is it nice and strong?
Beautiful.
Lingering.
I want to say cherry. It's not quite that strong. But yeah, there's something fruity there, man.
Okay, so tell me what the answer is.
I'm going for cranberries be a bit more kind of dry than that. Grapey.
What is it
I'm
for
stick with
you,
cranberry.
Graham?
Cranberry for me.
Cranberry for Kat.
Yeah, look, I'm going to back you. I'll give you the point if you get this one right. But it does.
So
So
what
what's the
you
cranberry
guys
vibe there?
are tasting is the Excellence 70% balanced dark chocolate with hints of vanilla and subtle notes of red fruit.
Red fruit.
There we go. There we go. And can you imagine? Because I think that this would pair so perfectly with, like, say, a cappuccino, for example.
So are we meant to also say the intensity? Like you just said now that
you
it's...
are definitely going to have to say the intensity if you can pick up the intensity. All right, so that is perfect for pairing with coffee, right? So with a cappuccino, that'd be perfect. So let's flip all of these over. There you go. So I'm not going to give you guys a point for that second one. Let's go for our third block.
I feel like we kind of deserve.
So this one is a tropical delight with stunning contrast and crunch. You're going to pick up that crunch. It's strong there. Yeah?
Definitely on the about 70% intensity.
Is that what you
with a mintiness to it. It kind of hits the back of the tongue. It cools down.
Minty is giving fresh, right? You're getting freshness.
Yes,
That's it.
Definitely.
That's it.
And it's got a slightly different texture to it as well. It's a bit more snappy, a bit harder. It's been
There we go.
slightly differently, but it's...
I'll tell you what it is. If you guys will get this wrong, I will give you the answer. So let's go, Kat. What is it?
I'm on the minty side. I think probably about 60-70% intensity, but minty flavor to it.
And Graham?
Yeah, I would say 50-60 intensity and definitely mint brew for sure. Delicious. Wow.
So what you guys were tasting there is the mango and almond. It's delightful contrast of fresh.
No, man. No,
tropical mango.
You are out of your mind.
You didn't pick that up? Okay, I'm just testing that you guys are here and present. No, well done. It is the Lindt Excellence Mint Intense. Well done, gentlemen. So that's a point to each. Now, because it's easy to get into guesswork here. When you've tasted the first one, you think,
Yeah, look, my olfactory and taste buds, that whole system has just gone into absolute overdrive.
But that's what happens.
That is
the
giving Ron
thing with
Burgundy
it.
vibes here.
Okay, so let's go. Your fourth one. Let's go for your fourth one there.
Okay.
Okay, wait, where am I now?
We need like a palate cleanser.
So I will tell you what your fourth one is going to give you. You are going to get quite a bit of roasty sort of a taste, a flavor
like
coming
cereal
through there.
Like a Rice Krispies.
You're onto something.
From a texture point of view, there's that crispy, and then there's a not, you know when you take nuts and you roast them a little bit. Yeah,
like a praline.
Nice.
I think I've got an almond skin on that.
Okay, so what you guys are tasting is the roasted sesame. You see, you were onto something there. Okay, let's take our blindfolds off.
Those were so delicious.
I mean, of course, I imagine you do want to keep going with the tasting, right?
Oh yeah, look, the orange for me is
stood out, right?
Win. I absolutely adore that.
And Kat, for you, what would you say is your new fave?
This is the roasted sesame.
Yeah,
that
and the texture of that was
stand out, right?
Wow.
Okay, so we know that Lindt Excellence offers a wide variety of flavors that everyone should experience, and the guys certainly have had a good time doing that right here. And you can see this can go on all morning long. And if you have never tried dark chocolate, these are the best flavors for you, which is why, you know, Lindt is giving you the chance to win a Lindt Excellence hamper. It's valued at 1,000 Rand. Visit Expresso's Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram pages. Let us know what your favorite Lindt Excellence flavor is and why. And I know you all do have a favorite out there. Remember to include hashtag Lindt Excellence. The competition will close on Monday, the 19th of September at noon.
Try this one.
Are you still going? Are you still going?
The
caramel is really, really good.
With a touch of sea
those
salt.
T's and C's, find them on expressoshow.com.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to try this one here, right?
Oh, man.
Dark chocolate. That's your vibe. All right.
More my thing.
Lindt Excellence. Refined chocolate pleasure. Lindt Master Swiss Chocolatiers.
Looking for fantastic health and weight loss benefits without a lifestyle change or being on a diet? Well, Shapeline 50 Billion from Proven Probiotics is the first ever probiotic to offer scientifically proven weight loss, while at the same time boosting immune and digestive health. That's why we think Shapeline 50 Billion may well be the world's most effective probiotic. Available at Dis-Chem and Clicks.
Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back. It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. One last performance from Samantha Mundo. This one is called Hallelujah.
Kunyangwe zinu zong, I still have hope. I got to believe in the Lord, He will make a way. Kunyangwe zinu zong, I still have hope. I got to believe in the Lord, He'll make a way. He's my hallelujah, my hallelujah. 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 I know this ain't get when the road is tough. He always comes through when I'm down and out. I know this ain't get tough, no mafunzi ma. Gang gang is shit, gang gang is laugh, bobo yang is sana.
Have a great day. We love you.
My hallelujah, He's my hallelujah, my hallelujah.
This spring, here's to Mother Nature and all the other mums who bring wonders into our world. Made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.
Konza zonke insuku cela hlale simbonga usontezana madola buka bonke sibonke impilo wazokhulu Jehova thanda ukubikele ngibonga uNkulunkulu. He's my hallelujah. Konza zonke insuku cela hlale simbonga usontezana madola buka bonke sibonke impilo wazokhulu Jehova. Yes.
He's my hallelujah.
Oh my. Oh my.
My hallelujah. My hallelujah. My hallelujah. My hallelujah. My hallelujah.